Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass.
Yes! You just made the list!
Brock Lesnar.
And hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jovan.
My name is Joshua Plummer.
And yes, we're back for another NXT kind of review. I think, as always, this is the last one of the year. Last pay-per-view of the year, if I remember correctly.
It is indeed.
That's crazy, by the way, because I think this year we've actually done surprisingly well at keeping in touch with all the takeovers this year, for a change.
I think we have, yeah. Sometimes we've just merged takeovers into one podcast with the big show, which is going on at the time, say, like SummerSlam Survivor Series. But yeah, we've there's not been much else to do because of obviously these depressing times. But that's why we watch wrestling, to cheer ourselves up. Although we watch WWE, so sometimes that makes us worse. But not NXT. NXT usually always delivers.
Well, the takeovers do anyway. Yeah. I mean, it's like I've seen some interesting things about this takeover in the sense that a lot of people are thinking with NXT, they're kind of talking about is this like a bad period for them because obviously it's like the height of NXT gone, or do you think so? This maybe not as like highly anticipated as maybe other takeovers.
Yeah,
maybe?
You always anticipate the live kind of crowd. They, even though the wrestling like, in the ring is like fantastic, what makes it go from like 8 to a 9 or 9 to a 10 is that audience. That audience response, the cheering. They're always into it. They're big fan base. They're very dedicated, very passionate. It's like when the Royal Rumble comes to like Philadelphia, or any event comes to Philadelphia or Chicago, very passionate fan base, which is great to see.
Oh mate, I gotta be honest. I can't wait for fans to come back wrestling.
I know.
I mean, we get snippets of it with obviously I think AEW the only one that's doing it at the moment. Like snippets of them coming back slowly
but surely.
Obviously in our country, obviously not wrestling, but very. Sporting wise, we're starting to get people back watching sport, so
yes.
Hopefully that translates to wrestling at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Would
hopefully.
Be nice.
Same with theatres as well. Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. I think it needs it sometimes.
Yeah.
I think it's been a bit over the place, but anyway, yes. Yeah, so obviously last takeover, obviously, and the good thing is it's been a last takeover. I guess you'll be happy, Josh. It's WarGames, and how much you like WarGames matches.
No. Say it properly.
No, I can't do it the way you can. You could do it better. You could do a good running wiggle.
All right.
Go for it.
So, I'm not going to do the accent, but it's time to review the last takeover of the year. NXT Takeover WarGames! Yeah.
I know. I look forward to editing that part.
All right, give me yours then. We'll have a poll. Who does the best WarGames? Give me yours.
Oh, mate, I think...
Go on, host. Go on.
He loves it. He loves doing that. I can see it. It's like... he loves doing that kind of... as you said before, it's like... He anticipates it. He waits for it. He loves doing it.
It's like he's been stuck in like isolation and he's only allowed out of the box to make that one announcement like each year. There's someone compiled all these WarGames announcement clips on YouTube, and they get progressively more excited, angry and happy and psychotic as they go. It's like it's WarGames, and it builds.
Well, to be fair, it's called WarGames, so it should have this intensity that it needs to be this kind of aggressive. You got to say it like when Paul Heyman goes Brock Lesnar, but they kind of say, but you got to say it sort of with viciousness, and I think William Regal gets that. So NXT WarGames. I didn't think it would happen this year because obviously it was on the knife edge.
Yeah, of course you only allowed 6 people in there. Is Shotzi Blackheart? Is that all in? Is that one household?
Yeah, it did. I got to be honest. This paper, it did kind of come out. Well, I won't say come out of nowhere, but it's like one of these pay-per-views that again I just thought they were going to go. Okay, it's 2020. It's going to be one of those years where it's just going to be like can't really do it really, but we'll skip it and maybe like when the fans are back we'll probably go for it next year. But nope, they did not, and we got not one WarGames, the same as last year. We get 2 WarGames matches.
Yes.
They're always fun. So, but yeah, obviously we got the problem. obviously we got, was it 2 WarGames matches? We had, I think, a triple threat North American Championship match. We had a match between Ciampa and Thatcher, and what was the other one? Yes, Dexter Lumis versus Cameron Grimes
in a strap match.
Yes, interested to talk about all those, but yes, again, as point out, I guess obviously I watch NXT every week now because I've got time now. But I guess have you been keeping in touch for the last couple of weeks? What's going on?
Yeah, well, I usually catch the highlights on YouTube, on the WWE YouTube page and other YouTube channels. But obviously Wednesdays, you got to kind of prioritize. Am I going to watch AEW? Am I going to watch NXT? Which one am I going to watch first? And then you get involved with something else, or you completely forget, oh yeah, I didn't watch NXT last week, I need to catch up with that. So, and sometimes you just completely forget to watch NXT, which is very rare. Or it was, I'd never say that, like, 2 years ago when AEW wasn't around, like NXT was like, I have to watch NXT. Like SmackDown and Raw was a chore, like occasionally as it is now. Whereas NXT I always look forward to.
Yeah, well, it's that thing now, isn't it? Because obviously now AEW's out there now. It's like kind of, and obviously because WWE were kind enough to put NXT on the same night as AEW, but not as because of they want to have, you know, good quality programming going against each other. They just want to stick it to AEW. And I think sometimes NXT has kind of suffered for it a little bit.
Yes.
When it comes to because obviously now it's like the fan base is split, and that sucks because we shouldn't be.
No.
It's the same stuff. It's candid to the same kind of people.
Yeah. Thank God it's the digital era, so we can kind of watch it whenever we want. So the kind of ratings, like TV, doesn't really matter. Well, for fans, it doesn't matter. For the TV companies, it does, because the more viewers they have, more money, 100%. Obviously.
Yeah, but obviously it showed. I think one time NXT wasn't showing. AEW like got 1 million, so I think it's anyway. But it's one of those things. Like I think that's why people look at NXT differently now, because NXT was that. What was it? That was our escape from WWE. It was like our only escape from the drag that is WWE sometimes. And it was like NXT was this show that was booked right, had stars, actually felt awesome. Matches that always most of the time delivered, and then now AEW came along and it's like, oh, we've got this as well. Okay, what do I choose? You know, it's like something completely different.
People probably know anyway that we're fans of both NXT and AEW. We're not. I'm not pro AEW and Stu's pro NXT. I find it really odd when people go, "Oh, you watch NXT? Oh no, that's crap. You have to watch AEW." I can watch both. I can enjoy both. That's the. Why can't I enjoy both products?
I do it every Thursday.
Yeah.
That's been my Thursday for the last couple of weeks. Just literally just like I get up, got nothing else to really do, so I'm like, oh cool, so I've got 4 hours of wrestling program to watch. Put on AEW, watch that, and then after that I put on NXT straight after, and I just watch it back to back. And afterwards I feel really happy, I feel good, and I'm intrigued to see what happens next week. It's just 4 hours of fun because I can watch both. I don't have a pet preference to one. Maybe one week I might like one, and another week I might like the other. But it's a great, as much as it doesn't feel it at the moment, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan. It doesn't feel like it, but it really is when it comes to quality of wrestling we've got at the moment.
For sure. Well, maybe not for Raw at the moment, but you know.
No. But this is what. But anyway, we talk about NXT. So yeah. So anyway, so. Kind of obviously, as always, we've got, as you expect with these kind of things, they always start with a WarGames match, and then they finish off with a WarGames match.
WarGames.
Yes.
I'll stop doing that.
Yeah. You can do it. You're going to be like that person that every time. But every time it's like, so when you do WarGames, what do you mean WarGames?
WarGames.
like you done like a
I
button.
went Vince McMahon
really
there.
Cool things. But yeah. So as you expect, obviously, except for the 2 WarGames match, was there any other matches you were kind of intrigued with, or was it just mainly the 2 WarGames matches you were kind of excited for?
Yeah, the face-off and star between, or the exhibition match between Ciampa and Thatcher. I was looking forward to. With the strap match with Lumis and Grimes, they're both very interesting characters. With Lumis, I don't know what to think of him. I want to like him, but I don't know what he is or is he a person or is
Yeah.
it? What is it? What is he? I don't know.
Well, obviously, we can get into that.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But
We get to that, but
yeah.
we've got similar thoughts on it. I've got to be honest. So yeah, no, I mean, obviously we'll talk about that when we get to the match. But yeah, I mean, when we get to that point, I'm just saying, I think we've got similar thoughts on Lumis. I don't know what to think about him. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, I think the triple threat I was looking forward to. I think because obviously you've got was it Gargano? That was Johnny Wrestling. Come on, it's Gargano.
Yeah.
Always delivers on the big stage, especially on the takeover.
Johnny Takeover.
We've got Damian Priest is impressing me even more, and obviously Leo Ruff. I was intrigued to see them actually use him and use his talents because they haven't really been using him last couple of weeks ever since he won the title. So, and also triple threats is normally 9 times out of 10 in NXT pretty good. So because they know how to book them right.
Yes.
So, I was kind of looking forward to that. But let's be honest. We're kind of tipping the toe around the issue. It's basically the 2 WarGames matches, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's what brought us here.
Hell yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. But, yeah. So, I guess is there a tip turn on the issue, as, some people do. Go straight into it. So, obviously, they kicked off with the Women's WarGames match. This year, it's Team Shotzi Blackheart and Team Candice LeRae. With Shotzi having had obviously herself, Shotzi Blackheart. She had the NXT Women's Champion Io Shirai that joined just like the Go Home Show NXT. We have Rhea Ripley, we've got Ember Moon, and then we've got on Team Candice LeRae you had Dakota Kai, was it Candice LeRae, Ricardo Gonzalez, and
Ricardo Gonzalez,
a heel.
Raquel Gonzalez. Did you say Ricardo Gonzalez?
I don't know. I usually just put Garland Gonzalez. I don't know.
It's Speedy Gonzalez. No, it's Raquel Gonzalez.
To be fair though, if I got a name wrong, she does seem like the kind of person that probably would hurt me for getting.
Oh yeah, she'd hurt you.
Yeah, so I got to be careful with that. Yeah. But anyway, yeah. But obviously, as I was saying, and a newly turned Toni Storm, turned heel a couple of weeks ago.
She did mention that we were going to see a new Toni Storm. Obviously, she wouldn't have taken kindly to Ember Moon stealing her spotlight at the last takeover. Toni Storm delivered the message that I'm back. Ember turns up with an even cooler entrance on a motorcycle. We discussed that in the previous podcast and the previous review, not WrestleMania, NXT Takeover 31.
But yeah, it's kind of want to get your thoughts on it, because obviously it's you thought that Toni Storm would just be like, okay, obviously she's going to be on Blackheart's kind of team because obviously his face makes sense, and then she turned heel randomly. I guess they got some point to it, but it's kind of like she turned heel, she just joined them, and then that's it. She's just another person.
Yeah, if they'd explain a bit further about the Ember Moon stealing spotlight, because she did attack Ember Moon to turn heel. But otherwise, who would you have gone for? Otherwise,
I mean, to be fair, the way it was looking, it looked like it was going to be. It was either going to be Indy Hartwell was going to be on.
That's true.
Candice LeRae's team, and then I thought, what was it? Maybe Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai wouldn't be in it, and then put Toni Storm there, but. I don't know if they just wanted to mix it up a bit, or they thought maybe this is the right time to turn a heel. But I didn't think Io Shirai was going to be in it, because obviously maybe you could take a back seat, because obviously the challenges for a title all in the match. So you can't really have a title match or anything. So
apart from Io Shirai is the evil in the sky, so she's got to jump off something tall. She did the best moonsault. Yeah, well, she did the best moonsault last year, and yeah, we'll get into that before the WarGames match officially begins, even though it has begun. But when it officially begins,
yes, of course. Obviously, in these kind of matches, they always have these kind of like a ladder WarGames advantage matches. Obviously, this one was on the Go Home Show, couple of NXT, and obviously it was between Gonzalez and
Shotzi Blackheart.
Anyway, but yeah, it's basically like obviously Blackheart got the win. Obviously, so they've got the advantage going into this. So it's kind of like, if you know the rules. So every 5 minutes, well, they have 5 minutes of each competitor. Every 5 minutes, another member of the team joins the fray, and obviously Blackheart they will have the advantage for the 5 minutes. So we obviously kicked off with obviously Dakota Kai, and what shocker, obviously, to kind of keeping kind of storyline, obviously, and then obviously Ember Moon decided to kind of join. So they were the first two, really. And it was kind of a match you expect to kind of like between those two. It's just basically like a slow build, kind of hard hitting kind of strikes and all that kind of stuff. Really, it's kind of have to pace it obviously because now obviously Dakota Kai would have a disadvantage. So going into it, so
Dakota Kai, particularly really impressed me with this match. I think she was like the standout performer in this match. You would expect kind of Dakota Kai to kind of just hide behind Raquel Gonzalez. She's basically the muscle of the two, that kind of partnership. But yeah, but there's obviously no one to hide behind, so I thought maybe she'd try to run or try to avoid as much as possible, getting a few cheap shots, whatever. No, she had like a no fear attitude, which is really good to see. More vicious, I believe they mentioned on commentary. It was nice to see.
Yeah. I mean, but to be fair, that when it was just them two, I think Dakota Kai and Ember Moon, I think it was just this cool bit near the end. I think where she hit that. I think I love that chiropractor kind of move she does. Mm-hmm. I think it's like some sort of like, was it like a back? Was it like a backbreaker of some kind? But it looks really devastating.
Oh,
and I think the
sunset flip backbreaker.
Yeah, it just looks awesome.
Yeah.
I like moves like that. Just like when moves look devastating.
Yeah. Initially, I thought it was like a botch. I thought they were just trying to do like some kind of Canadian destroyer or the sunset flip a bit quicker, but they slowed down. It's like, they've made a mistake here, and I transitioned to a backbreaker. That was very good. Yeah,
but I mean, they're good. I mean, to be fair, it's like this match. This part of the match is kind of just keeping it. Who's going to get the advantage in a sense before obviously another member of Blackheart's kind of team joins the fray. But obviously, and then that happened, of course, and obviously Black herself was came in, and she went weird and decided to go for some sort of toolbox.
She was building a tank during the build up for WarGames. I mean, unless you're going to blow the wall off. I mean, she comes out on the little tank anyway, or I keep thinking Little Tank from LOLO, if you've ever seen that sitcom, Little Tank. Shotzi Blackheart, Little Tank. But she basically fires. What would have been cool is if that trajectory here is like you had smoke coming out of there was a nice image of all the Shotzi's team on the tank, which was cool. But they basically fired a Nerf gun bullet at the cage, and a little bit of smoke came out. I was like, just launch a firework in there or something, some kind of pyro. It doesn't have to be obviously a missile. Just put in some pyro, some kind of explosive.
Well, what about this way? If for years we can do a thing where the Undertaker raises hell, and there's always like some sort of thing where the thunder comes and it strikes the ring.
Yeah.
Then we can do that. But again, that's that's fine. It's just to be fair, it's really cool that she got a tank back because obviously Candice LeRae kind of destroyed it, and I've never seen obviously some people say, it's only a tank, but it's like that, but tank means the world to her, so it's really cool that she rebuilt it and it looks more reinforced and more cooler than ever. So
not as good as Rufev's tank though.
Yeah, but that actually was a tank.
Now that's a tank.
That actually was an actual.
That was an actual tank.
The
man came out on a tank.
It's a tank, man. But that's awesome, and that was awesome. This was awesome. So, but yeah, obviously after this, it obviously came with a toolbox. We had some obviously cool. Basically, at this point, it was just basically 2-on-1. Dakota Kai because it's like getting outdone, and then after that, it obviously came. I'm sure at some point it was. I think it might have been when Rhea Ripley came in, but obviously after this, obviously the next person to come in was Gonzalez, and to be fair though, the way they've been booking her has been really good. Because she came in and just absolutely destroyed everyone in that ring. I mean, to be fair, it's been a gradual build for her for the last couple of months. Putting against like Rhea Ripley and all these kind of like big names. She's kind of really proved herself, I would say. Yes,
there was a lovely sequence as well where Shotzi went for like Hurricanrana by trying to bounce off the cage, but Gonzalez countered it and just powerbombed her against the wall, which was really cool. I like that. She utilised Kai. One of my favourite things to do, I've mentioned it before, there's a SmackDown versus Raw game. I can't remember what year it was, but you could put a ladder basically over your shoulders and just spin round wildly, knock everyone over, and you just win. She basically did that with Dakota Kai, which was excellent. It was good to see. That gave me a little bit of nostalgia.
Yeah, well, and also it's like it's like out of all the things I've seen in matches like this, you go, oh yeah, you could do that, can't you? That's actually pretty. I haven't seen you've seen it with a ladder, but I've never seen it with like use a person to do it. So, and also it just works on the kind of situation. Obviously, Gonzalez is a Dakota Kai's kind of muscle, so she's obviously going to help her. I don't know what their relationship is. More of a boss? I'll probably say. Probably help her out in this match. So,
yeah.
But again, it's obviously, and then after that, and obviously then next person came was Rhea Ripley, and then there was this cool bit I want to talk about. Is like we went into the toolbox that apparently no one used at this point, and then she brought out a mallet.
No, you got to be careful of the little mallet. You got to be careful of like a big mallet's fine. Little mallet, no bad. We all watched Hell in the Cell 2 years ago, or last year. We all remember, big hammers fine, little hammers no. Don't use the little hammers.
Don't do it, Seth. Don't. Just like, oh, God. They're so screwed up.
That is what would happen on WarGames if it was on the main roster on Raw SmackDown. It would end in a fucking no contest. Of course it would.
Or where it would end with someone pushing off obviously pushing someone outside the cage by accident, and it would end by forfeit or something.
Yeah, it's something ridiculous.
Should never be a thing. Just to point out that NXT, never do that finish. Ever.
Never.
Okay? Because that's just no fun.
No
match should end that way. That's what steel cages are for.
I honestly thought Pat McAfee was going to do something similar, or try something similar, try to escape the cage.
Well, the position he was at the point, I would run away too.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously, but kind of bringing up the mallet, the small mallet, of course, I have to be specific on this.
Yes.
Is that because obviously she obviously hit her in the stomach, that would hurt, but it's just like normally when they do them spots, it's usually like hit him in the stomach and that's it. But just the way she kind of hit it, like I think she actually obviously not obviously did it, but hit her around the head, kind of on the side of her head.
Ow.
I think with the mallet. That was just like, obviously it's not obviously did it, but it's just like I was a bit shocked. But wow, they actually allowed that, because they with WWE, they really try to avoid them kind of shots that, I don't want to say shots to the head, or kind of looks like you're hitting someone with a chair or something in their head region. So I was just surprised by it, but then to be fair, it looked pretty cool, but doesn't mean it's right, but I just thought it was really cool. But yeah, again, the problem with this match is purely for the fact that, just as I think I said before we recorded, it's a great match to watch, but I hate to review them because there's so many stuff I have to
There's
remember.
lots of things to talk about, even not just inside the cage, outside the cage as well.
I mean, it's just one of those things. It's just like, I think it's another thing on this point. It's like with this situation, it's just so many cool stuff. I got remember it all, so I probably missed something. So I apologise. But obviously, another thing just really up. I just remember is I forgot this. They had this really cool spot on both of the rings. Well, one was doing like a jumping cold breaker, and then the other one was doing like a springboard cold red. Like one side done one move, and then another side done the other, and it's just like one of them cool. It's like another version of like the Wall of Death thing they always do, but just like half of the wrestlers.
I like the face-off between Rhea and Raquel. They're all meeting in the middle, and they have a good. Well, it was a little bit scrappy, not kind of in a good sense, but it was nice to see them go at it again. The two muscle women of the teams, and then we had Tony Storm come in and bring in some more toys, as you do, bringing the kendo sticks, which is excellent, upping the stakes a little bit.
Yeah, I got one thing I want to point out about that is not the kendo sticks, but I just noticed it when she's trying to undo the ring buckle.
Yes.
Or undo it. I'm like, maybe it's just maybe I'm just watching a bit more wrestling than I have lately. I'm watching that going, so what is this thing lately with people trying to undo the buckle for the ring so that take the ropes off? I mean, you had was it Sammy Guevara did it, and it's just like you think, oh, it's one spot, and then all of a sudden you see another person do it. It's just like, is this a thing lately? Just like where people kind of want to do that, kind of take the buckle off the kind of...
Well, yeah, you can't get disqualified for it, so it's a legit weapon. It's a handy weapon to have or to utilise.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just like, I noticed it. Just like lately, it's just one of those things that keeps cropping up again and again. So maybe, I guess it's like anything in wrestling. It's sometimes wrestling companies just use, a lot of wrestling companies at some point use a lot of the same spots at the same time. Yeah, but let's be honest, this is all going on, or having its awesome match, and then obviously when we got to the last person, obviously trying to get into the ring was you got Candice LeRae, and then you have Io Shirai. I mean, let's be honest, as you said before, or I think before this recording, you were sitting there saying like Empress of the Sky, a really tall cage. There's gonna be a spot where she's gonna go top of cage and just, take everyone out.
And the first thing she does trying to get into the ring is get a ladder.
Because she's like, it's just like, yeah, definitely go get Lana, So of course she is. I mean, come on, she's amazing. So, but I get this bit when she came in. I like the idea of kind of like they tried everything to stop her from getting in.
Yep, utilising. I think they used Rhea's belt as well. Tony used the belt to shut the door. They shut the ladder in. Shut the ladder into Io's face using the door. Hitting kendo sticks on the fingers. Really fine to get into that cage because WarGames doesn't officially begin until everyone's in the ring. Because I believe Candice went for a pin at some point, but Io wasn't in the ring yet, and ref said, I can't count, Io's not in the ring. So, very good refereeing. Nice and consistent.
And then act shocked. I just like that. It's like, what do you mean, Web? It's like, yeah, do you know the rules? That's how it is. But I like the idea. It's just like they're trying to stop them from, even Indy Hartwell got involved by I think at the start, where she kind of pushed her into the steps, like just making sure that she can't get in there. So I think it shows how much they rated her as like a threat to everyone in that match. But again, the image of this match is the bits where again everyone's sort of fighting amongst themselves, and then out of nowhere you got Io Shirai,
like from out of nowhere. Yeah, it's like when did she climb up there? Like they hit that really well.
And also, but not just she could have just done a moonsault, could have just done could have done anything. She would have been fine, but no, she had to go a bit crazy and put a trash can on top of her, like literally just like go into the trash can and then jump from the top. And it's got to be the most weirdest but craziest thing. It's just like, why? But it's so cool. But it's just like, the question is, it just looked like, out of all the things you could have used, you thought putting a trash can over the top of your head was a good idea. But it's just like, it's not a complaint. It's just awesome. It's just like, that's the spot everyone's going to remember this match for, let's be honest.
High risk, high reward. It's like, why did she blind herself? It doesn't matter. It's Io Shirai. It's the NXT Women's Champion. Do what you want. Just jump off the cage.
She's crazy. Gotta love it though.
Yeah. There's moments where they had all of Team Candice in one corner, and one by one they'd whip them out and hit them with clotheslines and drop kicks, all sorts. One of the best things about the trash can as well was as by Io Shirai's lying down in the ring with the trash can on her head, and Dakota Kai just comes down, stamps on this trash can, and it looked brilliant.
Brilliant, but horrible.
Went for the pin, couldn't get her out the trash can. It was that compact. It was like, not only like if it's not crushing on your like sternum, like that must have been loud as well. Like you got to have a lot of trust. There's a lot of Io has a lot of faith in her fellow wrestlers. She really does. I
mean, I guess it might just be because the material it's made, and obviously how big they kind of made in trash cans. That just the impact was kind of lessened, but it still looked cool. I mean, it looked great. I mean, it's just I don't think I've seen like anyone use a trash can like that before, or like done it in a way like that makes you feel, oh, that's uncomfortable. But I mean, the spot near the end with the two chairs set up.
Yeah, I was about to say, speaking about being uncomfortable. Yeah, I thought you were going to go into this. This spot.
It's like it was Ember Moon done that the Eclipse was basically, it's like from the top, and just like it looked awesome, but it's like obviously the way you kind of had to do that was she landed on her throat on those two side of those chairs. It's just like it's an uncomfortable kind of, it's really uncomfortable, but it looked great. I think it's another highlight of the match.
Yeah, Moon looked like she took a. She landed on her back as well, like ooh, right into her back, right on the chair. So that obviously hurt her quite a bit as well. But not Storm Zero, Eclipse. It's good to see the Eclipse. I haven't seen it for a while. I thought she was going to climb to the top of the cage. And like, okay, you're going to dive off the cage with a trash can. I'm going to do it in the clips from the top of the cage. That'd be incredible.
We've done the highlight reel. We've done the highlight spot from the top. So we can't, have one. But, we always have one, at least one in a WarGames match. Especially like example, like a couple of years ago, I think last year, so with Ricochet from the top doing the 450. You always have to have that spot where everyone's just fighting around, and then all of a sudden look up, and there's someone up there and doing a flip, a moonsault, a dive, or something. It's kind of the tradition now, but it's still awesome. But yeah, that Eclipse by Ember Moon on looked horrible, but brilliant. I like spots like that where it's just you don't know if you're like, oh, could that actually like, is it like it's on that borderline edge that you're like, it looks cool, but you're also worried at the same time.
Yeah, it's like, hopefully that chair didn't actually go into your throat. That would be bad.
Yeah, well, there's another, obviously when we go into the WarGames match later on, there's another spot that's similar with that kind of thing with a chair, side of a chair, that looked also uncomfortable as well. But yeah, obviously it kind of a breakdown, as obviously in more spots, but kind of then they set up that ladder on the bottom rope, and as anyone knows anything, when you put a object and just leave it there for like a couple of minutes, and it's the rules, it's the same with tables, it's the same with anything. You're going through that. Yeah. At some point, it's going to be the finish, or it's going to be that one big spot. It's going to be, you're going to go through that ladder. Yeah.
That's the rule.
And they did. I mean, obviously we had a bit where I think Io Shirai was going to go top doing her moonsault, obviously a finisher, but obviously Gonzalez stopped her and kind of picked her up and then kind of slammed her through that ladder. My God, that ladder! I love the way that broke. I like it when you slam something through a ladder and it's just like it's because it's just like it's a perfect break.
Not only that is she landed not only through the ladder but also on that steel grate, combining both rings together. So double damage, which was lovely. I don't think anyone was expecting this that finish for the champion to take the pin, but they booked Gonzalez really well. So looks like they're sowing the seeds for that feud.
Yeah, it's kind of what I went for. I mean, I have to admit, obviously, I'll probably bring it up a bit more through the podcast. Obviously, I decided to be a bit more active on Twitter, and I put a poll on what people think of this show. They put, I think, obviously they put, they liked it, but this guy who's kind of commented on it, kind of had a good points. Like, yeah, he was kind of surprised that they kind of Io Shirai got the pin. Like, she's the one that took the pin. Yes. But again, it looks like they said they're setting up Gonzalez for the next challenger for that title next year. It's pretty much what they've been doing for the last most of the year. It's like putting up against the big, women in the kind of big names in there, and just kind of she's holding her own, and she's kind of been the highlight of that kind of. You could say she might be overshadowing Dakota Kai, maybe. So might be a turn in their future at some point, maybe.
Do we have that Triple H Batista-esque turn at some point? We got the Royal Rumble around the corner. There's a good possibility that both of them will be in the match.
I mean, I can see it. I mean, it just seems like when you're watching enough wrestling, you've seen enough duos that's got one's the kind of boss and the other one's the muscle. Eventually, the muscle turns on the boss and then goes their own way. It's always been the way. But are you? So obviously, they would just talk about are you shocked that obviously Candice LeRae won, like their team won the match, or would you? Because I was thinking Shotzi would win it, Blackheart's team would win it. To be honest,
if you're looking at the teams who had like the stronger team, like on paper, favorite wrestlers and everything, you say team Shotzi. Especially like Io Shirai, you got the champion, really is very well booked. Ember Moon's just returned, very popular NXT star as well. Shotzi Blackheart's good character. Don't know why she was captain. I obviously missed that part. Yeah, but I'm not surprised that Team Candice won because they were smart heels. Like within the rules of WarGames, well, there are no rules of WarGames apart from the 5-minute stuff, 3-minute stuff.
And don't jump over the cage. But that's it.
Don't escape the cage. Don't be a coward. Or you lose. But yeah, I wasn't surprised because the smartest team won, I think. Yeah, you can be as barbaric as you like, but whoever it is a team sport. It is a team game. You can win like individual battles in there, like rivalries, whatever, but it's a war game. You got to work as a team, and the team that worked most effectively together was Team Candice. They lost the last two. I think I'm going to quickly double check that. But yeah, that was going to go on to my point. I think because Undisputed Era hadn't won a WarGames match, that they would win this one.
Okay, well, but I mean, I think what was prediction-wise, obviously, I completely got all this pay-per-view wrong, so I'm going to get low scores, so I apologise.
You know what I'm going to say, don't you?
Yeah, say it. Say it.
WarGames! Oh no, the other thing, sorry. Damn it, Stu.
You can only have one catchphrase per podcast, okay? You can only have one.
I'll let Regal have that, because that's the only thing he gets to say.
I suppose say, damn it, Stu. Yeah, but to be fair, I deserve it this.
Yeah, I am completely wrong. Sorry to interrupt you, but Undisputed Era won the first WarGames match. Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, fair enough. But is it? Obviously, it's interesting because Blackheart had the advantage. So normally, when you have the advantage, not all. Obviously, I don't know, but it's I don't think it really. I think whoever won this match, it would have been fine because obviously everyone in this match is amazing. Everyone that's kind of been booked well and kind of have a compelling character. So like the heels winning was fine, the faces winning fine. It's just obviously for my predictions I was kind of devastated, but when it comes to the match, that makes sense. Obviously Candice away looks like at some point they're building up a kind of like the Garganos having all the gold. That would be nice, or having gold in their future. So that makes sense. Obviously they're setting up Gonzalez as this kind of monster. Like she's breakout star. Dakota Kai has been brilliant since she's turned heel. And obviously, I'm intrigued to see what they do with Toni Storm. I think she'll
continue feuding with Ember Moon. I think
that would be great because obviously, I think obviously these two are going to be like kill it because obviously the women's division is, I mean, I don't over-exaggerate, probably the best in the world. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's hard to argue. I think at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I just think about all the divisions. It's just like the characters have been great, built for brilliantly. It's just like this is what happens with years upon years of just focusing on great characters, great matches. And eventually it pays off into division now where every challenger, it's going to be a great match. So, and I think Toni Storm, it's like, I think, I don't mind her turning heel, but I would have liked it better if it like they waited maybe. And maybe make it more meaningful because then at this point it kind of, she just turned. And then it's just like, she just plopped her in that position as a heel. Where I kind of don't, I like heels that have, and she didn't really describe why she turned really as much. She kind of, it was very vague.
I think it's I think as I mentioned it was insinuated when she did turn. She said we're going to see a new Toni Storm, and Ember Moon overshadowed her return, and she attacked Ember to turn heel. So that was clear enough to me, but I can understand your reasoning, potentially letting it eat out a little bit longer. But I mean, we've already had the. They wouldn't play the same trick twice. I mean, we already had what was a face, then turned heel in the WarGames match. Dakota Kai last year turning heel, attacking Tegan Nox, creating a 4-on-2 disadvantage.
One of the best moments of last year, definitely, 100%.
Yeah,
obviously terrible because it was just like I like turns you didn't see coming, but as I think I've said in my podcast, like other episodes, like I think it's just they're maybe just getting the WarGames out of the way, and then they'll probably flesh it out more in the next couple of weeks. So, I think I'll be saying this, and then the next couple of weeks they flesh it out, and I'll be like, what am I talking about? It's fine, it's all good, all is right in the world. But yeah, one thing I just realised, we've talked a very long time. I'm only on the first match.
Yes, well, the WarGames matches are particularly long ones. So.
Yeah, gotta be honest, I just realised for how long we've talked about it is how long the match was.
Yeah.
So this is going to be another 3-hour spectacular, lovely, and some of us wanted to go to bed early. Oh, there goes that idea.
There's still a chance. Let's get through these other matches that we didn't care about. I'm joking.
Let's be honest. Yeah, let's be honest. We'll get through these quite quickly. Saying that,
least looking forward to. Oh no, that's harsh. The matches we were looking forward to, but not as much as WarGames. Yeah. No,
because obviously the title of the pay-per-view kind of insinuates what the main focus will be. Obviously, it's WarGames. But yeah, I mean, obviously obviously after this they had the match between Tommaso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher. Kind of feud that kind of for me feels like, obviously watching it's like came out of nowhere, because Tommaso Ciampa's kind of been lately going around doing the whole like, this is not my NXT, everyone pretending to be hard and thinking they're strength and all that kind of stuff. Like kind of like a veteran coming into a locker room after years of leaving and then coming back and that this is not my NXT, like similar to Finn Balor in some way. But yeah, and it's just I think it felt a bit, I don't know, for me it felt a bit like all of a sudden it's just Thatcher had those, if you know, the Thatcher catch cans kind of vignettes or in the ring, which I'm a fan of. I really like Thatcher's Thatch Cam. Yeah, because it shows what technician he is in the ring, and it shows how good he is at his craft. It's nice to actually show in wrestling that actually these guys know what the hell they're doing, and it's really good. So I do like him as well. And I liked his how his students, I think 2 of his students have snapped before. It's like, no, I'm not going to take this. Like, rightfully so. It's like, I'm fed up of being beaten up. I'm not going to take it anymore. So that was good. Yeah. I mean, it's just obviously started out as a kind of like backstage stuff, recorded vignette type stuff that's really cool. But yeah, and they turned into the ring, and then. But yeah, I think at this one it's kind of more of a Tommaso Ciampa trying to like I don't know if he's like on a crusade to kind of try and like toughen up the NXT in some ways, or kind of take out the like kind of deadwood or something like that. Yeah, Ciampa's been. Like, for me, Ciampa's been particularly quiet, especially ever since he lost to Karrion Kross. And he kind of derailed like some momentum, so he needed a feud to get a win back and establish himself. This was the right match to do it. I think both these guys, they were in progress at the same time, I think. And they're both good technical wrestlers. They're both, even though they are technical wrestlers, but they're also brawlers as well. So I thought this match was going to be. I thought it was going to be stiff than it was. I thought they were going to go potentially down the route of Dragunov and Volta, that kind of level of stiffness. But you can't top that. That's different level of brutal, mate. That's just like That's actually horrible to watch, but beautiful to watch. It's weird. But anyway, but I see what I mean. But yeah, if you're kind of like, I think this is kind of match if you're a lover of that kind of like instead of, if you like a kind of technical kind of ground and pound kind of amateur wrestling, you'll like this match, because it's kind of that kind of match, like very working on the body part. I think it was like Thatcher was working on a kind of neck or the kind of jaw kind of thing, and obviously and kind of Ciampa was working on the ribs, that kind of stuff. They're both like old school, working on a body part and kind of trying to beat down their kind of opponent until there's nothing left. Yes, Thatcher, as you mentioned before, working on the neck and back, which Ciampa had surgeries on and rehab, and a very quick rehab. I think they said that he returned 142 days early. It's like, that's very quick to come back from a neck injury. Trying to slow Thatcher down, so knees to the ribs, making sure Thatcher can't follow up with any of his nasty submission holds. I mean, he does make, let's be honest, the guy's very good at making things look like horrible, like sometimes there's certain submission holds some people wrestlers do. You think that wouldn't be that, I could take that. I could take it like a Boston Crab or something like that. But with Thatcher, it's like no. If you want, that looks snug. It's like Thatcher. He's very good at putting it across that. Yeah, this I'm making this look like it's gonna hurt. This is gonna hurt you, mate. Yeah. But yeah, it's very, again, it started off quite slow and kind of as you expect, but then it kind of built up in this kind of what you said you were expecting, this kind of more fist, kind of more. Fisted kind of situation where it's just like, I think obviously might be skipping ahead a bit, but obviously the bit where obviously it wouldn't be a Thatcher match without him bleeding at some point. Oh yeah, his ear got busted open. Yeah, I was like, oh okay, blood's out now. This is a fight. I mean, the guys, he lost 2 teeth to was it Matt Riddle in that match, and then now he's like he got his ears busted open. I mean, the guy's like. He's got a face of a man that's been through wars. That's kind of makes him a cooler character than most. But yeah, it took from just I think it was a knee. I think it was just like one of Ciampa's like knees into the back. Just put the intensity, like made it. It was too much for him, and it's just like. But obviously, for me, it enhanced the match tenfold. Yeah, for me it did. As well, obviously, like they didn't intentionally like stiff him, to open him up. That was it was a happy accident,
There's a little bit of blood there. Oh, stakes have upped a bit.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's kind of after that, it's kind of a situation, I think, as a Thatcher kind of controlled most of the match in some ways. Obviously, I think Ciampa did have some good comeback moments, but again, it was Thatcher kind of like really controlling most of it, to be fair. And one thing I got to point out, like Ciampa had this thing, I don't know, again, it's bringing it up again, where a lot of wrestlers lately have been doing these guillotines as well.
Yes, to choke out well, I guess it's a way of protecting your talent. You don't want them to tap. But if you're choked out for a significant period of time, your body's going to give up eventually. Yeah,
I mean, it's a cool move, but I just know, again, it's like the same thing with the turnbuckle thing in the previous match. It's like, again, it looks like it seems to be that thing that a lot of people are using lately, where like they kind of get like guillotine type situation, or like, you know, trying to choke the man out. But yeah, and obviously it ended with this cool bit with the end where I think Thatcher kind of snapped the ropes on kind of Ciampa on his throat. He came back. We had a series of chops, and obviously I think Ciampa again was trying to go for that guillotine choke on the outside on the apron, but it couldn't. Obviously, had to break up at 4. But just before the 4, boom, he hit the Willow's bell. Always looks devastating. Love that move, and yeah, got the win.
There's a bit of breaking timing after the DDT. I thought, oh, don't kick out the Willow's bell. That's a protected finish. Don't kick out the Willow's bell.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, it's just obviously we talk about it when we do it to the main event about kicking out of finishes they shouldn't be kicking out of, but yeah, I think it's one of those things. I don't know. I think it was like what again, 15 minutes. This match, I think it felt a bit longer than a little bit longer. But again, it's a kind of situation with this match. It's like if you like this kind of style, I think you'll be a fan of this match. Yes. But if you're not, you could consider saying this might be boring if you know it's this kind of you know that kind of style of wrestling, maybe.
I think this is one of those matches that didn't have like a promo package. If they focused a bit more on the story beforehand, like Ciampa was coming in to take down Thatcher, as you mentioned before, like Thatcher trying to be a tutor, but he actually enjoys it, like inflicting pain.
He's basically just a guy, just like he uses he's teaching as an excuse to hurt people.
Yes,
he's not
exactly.
Really he's not really training them
for his own gratification. That's the one. Yes.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it's but yeah, I like them spots in it. But again, it had an interesting thing at the end where it's like they're both looking at each other, kind of like, you know, staring on the opposite sides of the apron, kind of staring at each other.
This isn't over.
I thought I was waiting for that moment when it was like it's like maybe it's a look of like Tommaso Ciampa's like, you know what, I respect you, because it's like he's proving his point maybe. So maybe this might be a one-off feud. I don't know, but it's just like maybe that's what I think Tommaso Ciampa's character is at the moment, kind of go around trying to like, you know, I don't beat some respect or just kind of toughen up the NXT, I think.
Yeah, because he was always about going after Goldie, but now I think he just needs to establish himself again, saying he's still he can still go, he's still champion, he's still the daddy of NXT. But horrible nickname. But yeah, a few more wins under his belt, and then he can challenge for the title.
I mean, to be fair, I'd like to see him go back to a feud with was it Casida? Yeah. Because I got it right. Yeah, I pronounced that right. But because obviously that was a very brief feud, and they kind of went more towards the Velveteen Dream feud, and I was kind of a little bit disappointed because I was like, I saw their match off in NXT and it's really good, and I'd love to see a series of matches between those two. Would be great.
Yeah, I thought Kushida was going to be on the card. Obviously, of how well he was booked in the last takeover against Velveteen Dream. It's like, okay, maybe he's the next contender for the North American Championship, perhaps, or he's going to go into a big feud with one of those stars like Ciampa. But is he injured at the moment, Kushida, or was he just not booked on the show?
I don't know. I don't know if it's just again waiting for like pay-per-view, then they're gonna. Maybe it's another storyline they're going to build up again. But yeah, I'll be interested to see where Ciampa goes next. Let's be honest. Either they keep this feud on with Thatcher, I'm fine with. Maybe they might do Kushida, maybe, or they obviously had that thing. I don't know if it's near the end where I think Killian Cross is teased to come back, so maybe they might renew that feud. Maybe.
Karrion Kross, TikTok time's running out, so is time running out for Balor? I hope not. I still want to see Balor and Volta. We deserve that after the year we've had.
Oh, damn straight! But I was that match didn't even you know. I didn't even copy. That match didn't even go into my mind. But it's like now when I think about it, yes, please, I want that match. That when everything's cool, that's a match we deserve. But so it'd be interesting to ask Ciampa. I mean, I would say this was a story that was the most underdeveloped. Maybe it felt rushed, but it was still. I think it was a good match. So it was good for 15 minutes. Let them just beat the hell out of each other, and it was fine. I think it was alright. I mean, if you don't know, if you feel the same.
Yeah, I thought they would utilize that kind of building like another new star potentially at one of the students, as they did over in NXT for a few weeks. So there was scope to introduce like new characters, new stars, like they have done with Leon Ruff, North American Championship, Indy Hartwell in the NXT women's WarGames match, and then you've got Pat McAfee, who we've known for a bit, but he's not the big name established kind of star. And they're pushing Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan, they're tag team champions, well deserved, it's fantastic.
Definitely.
Good to see. So just getting a few more names in there, potentially. But we could have had Kushida against Thatcher, but Tommaso Ciampa needs to get some momentum back. He's one of the big stars of NXT.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the idea of going, but then again, you could always go. It's been a while since we've seen a Gargano Ciampa, I think. Actually, no, that's a lie. That was the start of the lockdown. So no, let's not do that. Let's not do that. We've had enough of those. That can happen next year. No. But I understand, agree. But I think he needs that kind of momentum, because I think he needs to challenge. The ultimate goal is to challenge for that NXT Championship again. So I think it needs to do. But yeah, this is a good match, and I'm not saying it's like my match that like I love this match, but I was fine watching it. I was mildly entertained. It was alright. So. But so obviously next match we're going to talk into is interesting match, I've got to be honest. Obviously we're talking about Dexter Lumis going against Cameron Grimes. I don't know really how to describe the build-up of this, really. It's very odd, if that's the word I'm looking for.
Is it still playing off the Halloween kind of theme a bit of Cameron Grimes just being scared of Dexter Lumis? It's like when Roderick Strong was being pursued or being harassed, being chased by Dexter Lumis and his piercing blue eyes.
He does freak you out.
I'm not quite sure why he was specifically targeted. I just know he was scaring him in the promo package, so I was hoping you'd give me a bit more insight, because you've been watching it weekly. What's been going on?
I think it's all. I don't know if it's like sort of Dexter Lumis. It's like Cameron Grimes has kind of been. Kind of, it all started in a kind of build up of the match of that Halloween Havoc kind of haunted house thing. Did you watch that? Did you watch the haunted house thing?
I missed Halloween Havoc. So,
yeah, basically it took all them. That horrible house of horrors match they had with Bray Wyatt and that, when they tried to go in the house and that kind of stuff, and all kinds of stuff in every room. They try to do that, and basically it's like, Cameron Grimes is like, I'm not scared of Dexter Lumis. That's basically the whole story, and he blatantly is, and he's acting. And I think what I love about this feud is, they're trying to build it as kind of like Cameron Grimes is like scared of Dexter Lumis, and I got to be honest, this last couple of weeks I've really been a fan of his character. I've really become a fan of his, like, he's really gone all in with it, and. But I think it's can't remember 100% like when I started watching it with the start of the feud, but I know the whole thing where he's not scared of Dexter Lumis started at Halloween Havoc basically, because it's like a bit where it's like he basically running away from Dexter Lumis, and obviously I think it was a cool bit where it's like he ran from this Halloween where this haunted house was, and ran all the way back to the arena, and it's the most funniest thing you'll ever see when he's like. They've like caught him running, and then like a couple of minutes afterwards, you're sitting there like he's probably ran like an hour, and he's absolutely knackered. He's so scared, he's just ran, and he hasn't stopped one bit. Like, seriously, Cameron Grimes, I've always been on the fence with, but he's standing. This feud with Dexter Lumis is made him, I think, turned me into a fan of his, big time.
He was a standout particularly we know how tricky ladder matches are in terms of timing. His timing was impeccable in the triple threat or 5-way ladder match for the North American Championship when it was vacated by Keith Lee. Yeah, he was brilliant in that match.
It's I don't know if it's just like because obviously his character is like at first I think he's finally got I think he's nailed down his character to a T now. I think it's like he's got to that point where it's just he knows what his character is, and I think he's good in the ring, but it's not. I don't think what makes him isn't really his in-ring ability. It's really it's really character. Okay, taking any chance he gets, like going to take me to the moon every time, especially with the hat as well.
Overconfident, obnoxious Carney is what I when I see on the outset of this of Trevor Lee's character of Cameron Grimes. Speaking of characters, we were discussing Dexter Lumis because I'm still trying to figure him or it out because I want to like you, Dexter. I really do, but I don't get you. I really don't understand.
I totally get what you mean. It's like I've kind of like for me, it's like they're bigging him up. Is like, of course, the guy can do some really cool stuff. I admit that his in-ring ability is very good, but I don't know if it's just me, but his look again. I think I've said it before. It's like he feels like a bodyguard. He feels like a guy like a hitman. Still
playing off that kind of he's that bodyguard, but like he doesn't speak. He's a bit weird. Don't talk to him. Like he unwinds by paintings. Like okay, fine, but when he because he says he debuted. This is how when I first saw him during the breakout tournament in the summer of 2019. He came out as this kind of like, is he a robot? Is he an alien? Why is he now crawling just on his hands and he's just dragging his legs? Has he broken his spine now? What's going on? But he does look like, you're right, he does look like that kind of deadpan kind of enforcer. Yeah, it's really odd. I've got up the because I wanted to find out a bit more about him. I got the bio up on the WWE website. It says disconcerting, unsettling, and creepy. All perfectly apt descriptions for Dexter Lumis. Yeah, you could say that. And it said about the breakout tournament as when we first saw him. So, okay, we'd like to know a little bit more about him. Little is known about Lumis. Oh, fantastic. That's good to know. Little is known. But his abilities inside the ring are not in question. He's crushingly powerful, statistically methodical, and completely unorthodox. Well, he's certainly unorthodox. Moreover, he seems to take pleasure in others' agony. Does he? That's Timothy Thatcher. I've never seen that aspect.
I don't know, man. It's just like it feels like it's like what makes him his kick is basically he's a very good. He's got that creepy stare guy. That's basically that we all have that friend or that person. It's like sometimes when he just stares at you, and it's piercing through you, kind of stare. And he has that, but I think it's like he's by himself. I think he needs someone or someone. He feels like a hired mercenary. And he does have that kind of. I have to admit, the build-up. I do like the bits where it's like. I think there was one with Cameron Grimes where it's just like he's sitting there chatting. So, I'm not scared of Lumis. And then there's just this bit where it's like Dexter Lumis is like walking and he's at the door and he's looking through the window and he's just staring at him. And it's just like he doesn't know that he's staring at him, but it's just like it's so creepy. It's like he's got the intimidation factor down to a T. But except for that.
Yeah, that stuff is like perfect for Lumis, but when I see him, like, especially when he's attacked or when he's selling, it looks like he's just come out of character and he's just saying like any other kind of like traditional like default kind of wrestler. It doesn't come across as like kind of caricatured, kind of saying how the Undertaker when he first came out he'd hardly ever sell or it'd be very kind of like slow or but yeah, the way he sells doesn't match the way he attacks or the way he holds himself, if that makes sense.
He's missing something. I think his character they've got something there. He's got the look, he's got something, but he's missing something that would just take him into this kind of guy. We go, oh wow, this guy's really good, because he's missing something. I don't know if it's just someone hiring him or having somebody else there with him. I don't know. I don't know if it's, but I don't want to say he's rubbish, because that's not fair, because there are good elements of him. But obviously in this match there were one or two like cool little elements that was like I like that. But I think it still needs a bit of tweaking. I think his character would probably be the right kind of discussion with him. He needs a bit of a tweak a little bit. I don't know.
Let's get on to the match. We talked a lot about characters, which is what we were missing from the last match. So at least we've got characters, which is good.
Yeah, well, to be fair, it makes sense for us because obviously why be an actor, so it makes sense we're going to ask about character. Ask you, right? Anyone that knows about it more than anybody, would be you. So why not? And also, that wrestling is more about the in-ring ability, but also it's character. So why not talk about it a bit more?
And storytelling aspect, it makes sense it being a strap match. So Cameron Grimes has nowhere to run.
Nope. Well, we tried. Yeah. I got to be honest, he did try, and I got to be honest. Some of the bumps in this match were quite really cool. I think obviously you had a bit of the bite to start with, like Cameron Grimes, like, nope. Oh, you've got to use our straps. Like, nope. I bought my own strap. I don't need his strap. I've got my own strap. I just love that. It's like, I don't know why. It's nothing special, but I just like that. It's just like, yeah, I don't need your strap. I've got my own. I'm gonna do it on my terms. And then, then it's just as you would, and he does what any heel I would do. Is the match can't start until somebody the other side, the leather straps on the other person's wrist, and he's like, nope, beats the hell out of Lumis, as I would do, wouldn't you? Before a match starts, if you were a heel. I mean, I don't know if you would, but I know I would.
It depends again if I was supposed to heel. Yeah. If I was a heel, absolutely.
Oh yeah, but to be fair, I would be a cowardly heel because I'll be like the ones that I use my brains and not my I'm not going to physically win. I'm going to beat you with my mind, even if it's like cheating, low blows. I'll be cheating all the way, mate.
The Sami Zayn way. The Sami Zayn way.
Yeah, why not? And to be fair, he's people think he's annoying, but I think he's great. But that's just me. And he's got the same look as I have. He has the long hair, wears a weird hat, beard, an uncontrollable beard. He should trim. Similar people. But anyway, it's not the point. But yes, obviously had that bit, and then obviously, Dexter Lumis basically come back, and then when the match starts, when he put the leather strap on around his wrist, it was basically I don't know why, it's just because of I loved Cameron Grimes kind of selling in this, where every time he tried everything to escape, jumped over the rope, pulled him back. He tried to jump over the guard. Was it the plexiglass to try and get away? And it's like, what are you doing? That's not going to work. That's not going to help.
Nope.
And then he pulled him back, and he landed. That bump was yes. I'm like, yes, I like that. I like because it's like I just like that. I think the selling by him is really, it made it a very entertaining match, I would say.
He's the heel you like to see get beaten up, which is it's the good kind of heel.
Yeah, 100%. It's just I love that kind of. I respect people that do good selling, and I like people that kind of like, it's a bit goofy and it's a bit over the top, but it's fun to watch. He's like,
I mean, you look at the characters, it makes sense. They're two ridiculous over the top characters that are not the most ordinary characters. They're very unorthodox, very unusual, so it makes sense. They actually had good chemistry together. Yeah,
I think this might be the proper one, because I think they had one sort of match, and they had the Halloween Havoc match, the kind of haunted one, and then this is the proper a strap match. You could say is a feud ender. I would say you could say, in some ways, but yeah, I mean, it's just what I think made this match for me. It was just like the constant bumping and the way pushing people like up on the top rope, pushing them off the top rope, the way they landed. They had a cool bit where I think it was like. What was it? Cameron Grimes kind of like a back suplex to the on the apron, like on the apron on the barricade, over the barricade in the crowd.
Yep.
Well, no crowd, of course. But and I think it's I'm not an expert on camera angles, but I love the camera angle where it's like, Cameron Grimes like, oh yeah, he's like celebrating, and then all of a sudden it's just a camera and you can see a hand and another hand.
Yeah.
And it lifts him up. And it's just like, I saw that, it's like, that's why Dexter Lumis is cool in some ways. Because he's very good at being that kind of like unstoppable monster. It's like, you thought you got rid of him, and then he slowly gets up. You're like, oh, for God's sake, what have we got to do to beat this guy?
Yeah, that's what his selling should be. He gets beaten up, he goes down, boof, there's like, no reaction, then boop, automatically recovers. Oh, for fuck's sake, like reboot, sorted now. It's like the best kind of description would probably be, the bad guy in or the Yarp, in Hot Fuzz. That kind of tall guy, he doesn't say much as Yarp. It's very you hurt him, but he just keeps coming back.
Well, it's like any guy that's like, when we always have those movies where it's like that situation where it's like the big guy and it's like you hit him and then like he can't go down. You're looking at the heroes like, oh, for God's sake, of like hit him. You've shot him, you stabbed him, you've tried to, you've hit him with all kinds of weapons, and he's not going down. You're just like, for God's sake, go away. I think that's what Dexter.
You've done it. You've killed him. Then another two of his mates turn up. Like, oh, for fuck's sake.
That's what I mean. It's just like there are good elements of his character, and I think that was shown in that bit where it's just like
he's the final boss henchman. That's what he is.
Yeah, he's a guy. It's just like if you send him after you, you're screwed. I think that's what he needs. Yeah. He needs some kind of direction. But yeah, that was cool. They obviously had a bit when he came back in where kind of like Cameron Grimes kind of pushed him in. The way that bump as well was quite nice. I got to be honest. They kind of worked well with what the stipulation they had when it was kind of like a lot of pulling, kind of selling on, like kind of pulling on, like, you know. I think they had a bit with the kind of structure where they're doing the WarGames thing, using that as a weapon as well. But I mean, it was basically a situation of that. Basically, I think Cameron Grimes got the advantage. He had a bit where he's sitting there on his seat, you know, got a chair, sat there celebrating. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I wouldn't be doing that when there's a guy called Dexter Lumis is around. But you know, he was getting overconfident, as you expect from a character like him.
From Cameron Grimes, yep.
Yeah, but after that, just and then the match kind of ended with he's trying to escape. I think it's like that. I don't know what that submission movie does. It sounds like a choke of some kind. I think it's like it's just basically like I don't know if it's some sort of like forward choke or something. I don't know the exact name of it, but yeah.
Yes.
Oh, now I remember. Now it's now we've got a situation. We had a bit where it's like I think he had the chair, and I think he tripped. I think he put the strap round his legs of Cameron Grimes, and he tripped him. And
that's the one, yeah.
And he landed, and his head landed on the chair, and it didn't look nice. I gotta be honest. And then kind of got that kind of choke or kind of like submission, kind of Dexter Lumis has, and and obviously I think he tapped out or passed out, and and then match ended, and it's just like the usual thing where it's like he holds his victims in his hands, as you know, one or two wrestlers have done, and it looks like this hopefully. It's been fun, but I hope this feud's over. You know, I think they can move on to better things.
I hope so. Yeah. And Dexter Lumis, he can kind of feud kind of with anyone. Maybe he might be a good fit with Thatcher, perhaps. I don't know, they've already feuded, I think, Dexter Lumis, haven't they?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's turning heel. I just think he needs some sort of someone to be like his manager or some sort of, like, you know, someone trying to guide him. I don't know.
Someone needs to hire him. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah, he's missing something. I don't know what it is. I think it's just he's got that good look, and he's got that kind of like ability to ring. It's kind of cool, but just missing something that would push him to maybe challenge for the title at some point. So would you? Let's just kind of end it with this match. Would you enjoy it? Do you think it's good? I think it's like the same amount of time, 12, 15 minutes. I think it was fine. I enjoyed it to a point.
Yeah. I do prefer the kind of... I understand why they're using the strap, but like with kind of feud enders and no escape, you'd think, oh, cage match. You know, but you don't want too many cages in a WarGames event. So two WarGames matches is enough, especially when they go for 45 minutes. Enjoyable 45 minutes, but my God, imagine if you had like 3 of them or like every match. My God.
I mean, you're only supposed to do 1 of those, but 2. But... Yeah. Anyway, but I think it's a good match. Again, it was like it's not that top line, that kind of storytelling. It's like it wasn't a match you're going in excited, but it was most of the time. It would take something quite spectacular for a match for you to hate an NXT Takeover match. So it definitely was never. It's not going to be the top notch up there with like the greats, but for what it was, and it was kind of mind entertaining. And I think I'm turning into a big fan of Cameron Grimes. So I just hope. I don't know what they'll do next. Maybe toss him into that North American Championship kind of a feud. Maybe you might go after a Priest or someone. I don't know. But obviously that kind of ties in nice to the next match you want to talk about.
I could see like Gargano hiring Lumis. That could be interesting. Because Gargano. You know, they have the Gargano way of doing things. They have things where they do it at their house. Sometimes they get visitors they don't want, so just have some guy there, rather than Lumis like staring at them, being a threat to them, intimidating them. They use Lumis to deal with their problems.
It's one of those ideas that would work if it wasn't for the finish of the match we're going to talk about in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things like it would. I would like. I kind of like. I mean, to be fair, Dexter Lumis versus Johnny Gargano. I wouldn't mind that. I gotta be honest. So maybe it might be he tries to hire him as well. Maybe that might be a thing as well, as you said, and then kind of he turns on him, and then maybe that could be a thing. He's got momentum, so maybe it's a thing. But again, we kind of spoiled the ending of the match we're just about to talk about, so apologise everyone. But yeah, so obviously we got we're almost getting through this. Obviously, we're quite. This should be cut down, but I was hoping this would be in under 2 hours, but silly me.
I don't think so. Let's try and get through it as quickly as we
can. But then
can.
how many times we said that over the years, mate, and how it never works.
I know, and we've got the WarGames match to follow.
As I said, we like talking, mate. It's like we can talk about the stuff of 3 hours, 4 hours. We can talk about 7 hours. We can talk about this weather. I mean, 7 hours a bit excessive, but you know where I'm going with it. But
maybe WrestleMania for 7 hours. Maybe.
Yeah, let's not do a WrestleMania type situation. Even some people. But anyway, let's get into it. Yes, obviously next second to last match of the card obviously was the triple threat for the NXT North American Championship with the new champion that's won it in a shock victory a couple of weeks ago. That we'd love to get your thoughts on what you think of that in a bit. Yes, obviously against the former champion Damian Priest and the former champion, because a lot of former champions in this match, Johnny Gargano. But yes, so as you just said, it's like obviously Lil Ruff won it in a kind of shock, kind of underdog victory a couple of weeks ago. After Johnny Gargano was getting a bit cocky, he says he hates wheels, and now when he won the title, he now likes wheels. And then kind of done a Wheel of Fortune, stuck on, kind of put Lil Ruff's name on it, as kind of thought that he was going to win it. Distraction by Priest as just being there. Done it with that crucifix pin combo. It's really cool. And he got the surprise win. Kind of just want to get your thoughts on obviously you can't know what it was all about. What's your thoughts on like? Do you think it's like, do you like him just winning the title out of the blue? Or do you think he's kind of been a back burner in this feud between Gargano and Priest? I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, he's treating the match as like an art of thought, like kind of like deliberately. But I do like it when like the big underdog wins occasionally, like things that stick to your mind. 1, 2, 3 Kid beating Razor Ramon, Jeff Hardy winning the Intercontinental Championship against Triple H, Mankind beating The Rock. Those kind of underdog stories are always pretty good. However, we got more insight into their characters before they actually happened. Had it been a jobber in NXT or someone who's not got the best rep, like kind of off the top of my head.
No, I mean, they're usually quite good at building up these kind of shocks normally. But now apparently he's only been in the company 7 weeks at the point of winning the title, apparently. Or maybe that's what they're saying to build up as this big shock. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, me personally, It felt like the old days, when you have them shock title changes, where just for the sake of shock title changes.
Yes.
I wasn't a fan of it, but I wouldn't have minded it if it was like kind of they focused on him, but they didn't.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a situation where it's just like he's in the middle of it, and I guess that's the point. But I would have liked it a bit more where he was a bit more the focal point in some ways, especially with the rematch where it's kind of like Damian Priest kind of like. To mess with Johnny Gargano, kind of hit Ruff.
Yeah.
Like just, hit him so Johnny Gargano can get disqualified. That again, he's supposed to be the face, right?
Yeah, that second match, going with those big upset wins. I mean, most of the time the heel champion or who just lost the title would get it back kind of like straight away. But in that second match, you'd want the crowd behind your recent underdog champion. Well, on this occasion, Ruff won. Okay, nice. But again, the talking point was about Priest and Gargano. And when that rematch was made, okay, Priest is going to come in and make the save somehow. So everyone wasn't really focused on Ruff too much. I mean, they did more stuff kind of backstage about Ruff trying to build his character, where he wants to like kind of do it himself. He slaps Priest across the face.
I do like Wiggle's reaction to that, to be fair. I gotta be honest. It's like, you deserve that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's true, he did. But it's so funny because Damian Priest's reaction is like, oh my God, I can't believe you just did that. You just, kind of internalizing that. His reaction is like, his offended face is like, how dare you? How dare you slap me? How dare you chop me, little man?
And it's like William Regal's like, mate, you can't be calling people interfering with matches like that and expect him to be okay with it. I do like, again, if I'm going to give some credit to it, I do like the idea that it's just basically he's not going to go on happy-go-lucky going, oh my God, I've won it. It's like he has his chip on his shoulder because everyone thinks he's a joke. And I kind of like that.
Exactly, yeah.
And again, for me, I like that story, but I would have liked it if it wasn't for like he won the title to do that. I would have liked it if did it need him to win the title to get the same impact, to kind of get that to prove that it belongs there, maybe. Because he could have done the upset win over Gargano without the title, maybe, and it still would have kind of worked, I think. But that's just me, maybe.
Yeah, you could have had Gargano. He doesn't want. Well, he was cursed. Well, the alleged kind of curse, like he lost both his titles on the first defense. So to be safe, he wants to know who his opponent is. If they do beat him, he knows what homework he has to do in order to beat them or not be beaten by them the next time round. So that Wheel of Fortune kind of thing is, okay, if you beat me, you get a title shot, which would have made sense. But I don't mind Leon Ruff winning the North American Championship, but the North American has fluctuated now. We've now had a 3-time North American champion. But let's not go into, it's not there yet, but let's not turn it into the 24/7 title, where we've had like approximately 456,932 different title changes.
I wouldn't say hardcore, but maybe sometimes the Intercontinental title was near the end of the Attitude Era, where it's kind of like it kept flipping between people, and it's just like stick to someone. And but again, we'll kind of talk about the match because, again, as always, we'll talk a lot about the backstory because this is going to be a long edit job. Yeah, I can't wait for it. It's going to be fun. But it's kind of like triple threat because, again, Damian Priest and Gargano, I think, had a good I think at first the chemistry's getting better, and I have been enjoying the moments when they were in that match. In this match, is really good. But I kind of like the start of the match where it's kind of a situation where Ruff is, Priest is kind of pushing Ruff out the way, saying, "Get out of my way, kid." It's all about Gargano. He's not focusing on Leo Ruff. That kind of like, because it kind of builds on the story. It's like he's like, "I don't want to hurt you, kid, but it's not about you. It's about I want to take out Gargano." Yeah. And obviously, I like the story. Was like Ruff's like, "No, mate." Mate, it's just take me seriously, and it's like he resisted. There was a cool bit where it's like Johnny Gargano convinced Ruff to kind of like help him take out Priest. That was kind of like, it's like a temporary alliance, but you never trust Johnny. Come on. Then jumps
back into the ring, spears him. We had a great bit of defense from Ruff early on in the match, like jumping on the ropes to avoid Gargano, but then also to set up, I believe it was a Hurricane Runner, but basically doing a pretty impressive Rey Fenix impression. That was some good stuff. To be fair,
I do like that. It's like he does do it quite. I always wait for that kind of wait when he slips though, because I see it when with AEW when they do it in AEW. It's like they do all these stuff and you're waiting for them to slip. Because there has been a lot of slips lately. But yeah, it's a cool move. I mean, to be fair, nothing can deny. I mean, this match like Ruff is definitely on that kind of caliber that the wrestler you would love. He's small, he's agile, he's high flying, he does some cool moves, he can do some cool stuff. He's definitely everything you would want in that kind of what you like about, if you like that kind of wrestling, really. But then the kind of story was basically like every time Priest was gone for Gargano, Ruff just kept getting involved, and then eventually Priest had enough. And he basically hit the Rage's edge, if I said that right, and onto the plexiglass kind of wall, and it collapsed.
Yeah, which is quite fitting when we were just talking about underdog kind of stories. Razor's Edge on the little guy, Razor Ramon 1-2-3 kid. Razor Ramon's finisher was the Razor's Edge. Devastating move. It's I believe it's Damian Priest. Razor Ramon's one of his favorite wrestlers. So yeah, that fits in quite nicely. It's quite convenient.
Yeah, well, I didn't think there might be a connection Might be a connection like that. I
Coincidental.
don't know, but yeah, I mean, again, and after that, just I think what they're trying to do with Ruff here was a kind of situation like the what you do with baby faces. You want to get sympathy. You take them out. The refs come out. The doctors come out. Well, he's injured. He goes to the back. He's out of the match. And yeah, and then obviously, and then it was just a good for a couple of minutes of just Gargano and Priest. I think it was like a thing where I think Gargano was trying to do like a tornado DDT on the outside, but I think he slipped, so he had to try again. I guess it's quite slippery. But yeah, it was just a good move, good counters, good, to know each other very well, as you expect. And then obviously a couple minutes later, you got Ruff come back, and obviously I think he jumped. He jumped on. I think it was Priest to kind of do like a slam or something, or like I just like the way he just jumped over him because he's so agile. But yeah, I mean it's just and after that it's just a good spot fest. That's some good moments. But let's be honest, this match kind of got weird near the end with the kind of as I forgot to bring up the ghost faced.
Yeah. Obviously, I hadn't seen Halloween Havoc, as mentioned before. What the hell was that? Where did that come from?
Basically, what it is basically how Johnny Gargano won the North American Championship is because of a random Ghostface guy hits Damian Priest in the back with a tombstone. Actually attacked him from behind, and then all of a sudden Gargano pushed him off the stage, and he basically helped him get the win. He's been a bit hit and miss. He's 1 minute he turns up, and then he hasn't been for a couple of weeks, so... but the last week or so, they've been kind of pushing it back because there's rumours going around that the Ghostface was just Indy Hartwell helping them both. But then 2 weeks ago, they had a bit backstage where going for the there's backstage to going in the car, and then Indy Hartwell was there, and there was another Ghostface. So they're teasing that there's two of them.
And then we find out in this match there's 6 of them.
I gotta be honest, I thought one, but then again it got ridiculous a little bit. It's like you got like 3 of them. I'm like, okay. There were 3 Ghostface in the Go Home show. Yeah. That makes sense. But then 6, I'm like, man.
Yeah, I was initially thinking, oh god, it's like, well, they've brought Retribution to NXT. It's like, no, Vince doesn't want you anymore. We don't want Retribution anymore. Nope, just send them over to NXT.
Let's not do that. But I mean, that was great. Nope. I mean, I think there's a spot I forgot was like Damian Priest was kind of focusing on them. And I think Johnny Gargano, had a cool spot where it's like, I think, was it Ruff did that like a frog splash or that splash he does. And I think Priest was too distracted by the goons that he kind of just about broke it up. But I kind of like that where it's like it's all about kind of Priest is too distracted that he almost lost the match. And kind of Gargano lost the match. But yeah, I mean, after that, just as you expect, obviously, I think it was all about Priest after this point. It was like him trying to survive, trying to win the match, because obviously numbers are against him. Yeah,
his kicks are really good.
I mean, to be fair, well. I mean, to be fair, it's like I think when it comes to Gargano and Damian Priest, like their kicks kind of like are both quite devastating. So it always has some cool moments. So, but again, it's the kind of finish with the bit where you thought you got rid of all of them, and then another one came from behind, hits Damian Priest with the lead pipe. I'm like, yes. Two weapons I love in wrestling: the brass knucks and a lead pipe.
Yep, I was about to say the brass knucks. Yep, it's good to see the lead pipe make a resurgence as well.
What I liked about it, hit him in the back, and he was out. Because if you got hit in the back with a lead pipe, you're out.
Yep.
Now
you ain't getting up.
Yep, and then obviously at the end, one final beat. So that really awesome, like kind of like springboard, like DDT does. That we all know is awesome. And as we said, probably sport the whole fittest, sorry. But obviously became a 3-time NXT North American champion. And there's a smug moment at the end where I feel very smart and very smug right now. We find out who who was behind the mask.
And who was it, Stu? Say the line.
Austin Theory. And he said,
God damn it, I was waiting for the line.
Oh, do you mean it was me? It was me, Austin. It was me all along, Austin.
All along, Austin. Oh, son of a bitch.
Oh, damn. I like JR made that one. But when I mean smug, I mean I called it.
You called it?
Yeah, well, if probably no one listened to it, so I probably just sound like up and on us. But on my talking about all things pro wrestling, I kind of suggested that maybe the guy behind the mask is maybe Austin Theory.
How did you figure that out? Scooby-Doo, Stooby-Doo, Scooby-Stoo.
Well, because they're building him up, and then all of a sudden he lost the match and quit. So he just went.
Yep.
And then it's like you haven't seen him for a while, so the only two options you had is either they've got something big planned for him, or he's just like taking time off. I admit it was a shot in the dark, but obviously I can't prove this, so people might think, of course you're going to say you called it, but it's that nice thing in wrestling, you know, like when you guess something and you get it right. I kind of like that, but yeah, no one's going to give me credit for it though, because they'll be like, you're just talking out your ass. But I know I predicted it, so give me some credit, please. But I like the idea. I mean, Austin Theory's being kind of all over the place anyway, and obviously him with Gargano, that's going to be an interesting pairing. I got to be honest, I'm excited.
That's a good protege. Yep.
Well, everyone needs a faction, because obviously the Gargano way needs a faction of some kind, you know?
It does.
And they're kind of building up the power couple at some point, right? With the whole Gargano and kind of...
The poison pixie, yep.
And obviously they both got goons now.
They both have goons, they both have proteges, yep.
So obviously that ended, so there's probably a good chance it's going to be another Priest-Gargano match, or maybe... But the question I asked myself, like, so we like the kind of Ruff kind of winning the title, to only hold it for 3 weeks, couple of weeks. It makes me think to myself, if he's going to hold it for 3 weeks, what was the point of him winning it in the first place?
Well, to be honest, I thought he was only going to hold it for a week.
When I thought after 2 weeks of like, okay, then maybe they might give him like a month or something, a good run with it, and then, but yeah, I don't know. It's just I get it, exposure, working with some of the best in the brand, gets him known. I get that. Maybe a situation. Maybe he'll go on to go against the cruiserweight champion because he did pin him in the tag team match on the Go Home show.
Yeah.
So maybe that might be. That would be great. By the way, that they actually tie in, you pin a champion, and he actually results in a match. It's a crazy concept, but anyway, yeah. I'm kind of rambling on, but yeah. So final thoughts on like the match. Were you quite enjoyable of it? Or do you think it was more? Do you think that the ending might have got a bit goofy in the end?
I'm not quite sure if it was just the one person that was behind it with the goons. I don't see why there were 6, 7 in total. Like who are the 6? Who are the other 6?
I know.
I can only think of Retribution. That's not good.
No.
Who are these 6 people?
Yeah. I don't like it either when it's like 6 people for the sake of 6 people and it's like not actual people that's joined a faction. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's like as a match itself, it's fine. Had the cool moments, had some good spots, as you expect from 3 really good. Could you say this has put Leon Ruff on the map? What do you think is his kind of put him in his high profile? Has made him, it's been good for him, or do you think he should have been kind of done something else?
Yeah, it's probably good for him. Probably ride the way for like a few months or so, but unless something like really good like comes up, or he, like, I don't know, does overthrow Phantasma for the Cruiserweight Championship, I can see him as being quite forgettable. Sorry to say. I
don't know what it is. I think it's a situation where...
It's because he came out of nowhere. Basically, if this has been a guy who, again, like an underdog, like a Spike Dudley type or an early Jeff Hardy type, people really liked a Hurricane type, people really popular, but kept losing, but still maintained popularity. They're still going to remain popular. It was rough. It's like that was nice. You had your 15 minutes of fame or your 3 weeks of fame, but there it is now. You can say I was North American champion, which is really cool because it's a lovely belt, and a lot of people prestigious people have held that title. Well, especially NXT wise, like some of the best NXT performers: Ricochet, Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean they haven't put it on in well. Yeah, the people who have that title, it's like one of the top echelon of like talent in NXT. Yeah. So it's not like a. I mean, it's a good thing having your resume, but I don't know. It's like it's. I guess it's like anything, though, isn't it? It depends on what they do with him next. If it's just he puts him, if he's in this top position, and then all of a sudden, boom, they put him in the cruiserweights, or just he becomes another wrestler, then what's the point? But if they keep trying to build him up as his kind of star, or building up, use this, then it's probably not a bad thing. But it depends what they do with him. But we are talking about NXT, so you have a bit more trust that they know what to do. They know what to do with him.
Hopefully, although I can see him just going to 205 Live to us, or maybe going to NXT UK. Who knows? But he's a cruiserweight. They'll utilise that a bit more, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I would like that. I mean, because on the cruiserweight, it's very hard to find who's going to take that title from. Escobar. I've got to be honest. There's not really anyone standout, performer or standout wrestler that I think can take that title from him. So maybe they could do a situation with Ruff. Put him more, keep him on the high profile maybe.
Or they do like a double merge kind of with the titles like Finn Balor and Volta. You could have that, but you could also have Jordan Devlin and Escobar.
Totally forgot about Devlin. And I'm guessing that's going to infuriate him even more because obviously that I did see a promo when he came back at NXT UK and it was pretty damn good. So
it was.
There's money in that match and I can't wait to see it. And I want him in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
He's brilliant. So I can't wait for him to come back and just like destroy everyone, saying I'm the true cruiserweight champion and we can have a great match between Escobar. That'd be great. So but I think it's a good match. I liked it. Johnny Gargano winning makes me think him with title makes sense. Don't taking the title off him for 3 weeks and then put it back. It's kind of like
end the curse. Let him have a good run with the title for a couple of takeovers.
Well, he's got backup now, mate. Guy with a lead pipe. Yeah. He's obviously not a man with a mask because now he doesn't have a mask. But yeah, he has a man with a lead pipe, so it should help him win more matches. So a heel needs a goon. And I think Johnny Gargano has been missing that. So now he's got a goon. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with him. Got to be honest.
Yeah.
So, we're not doing bad for time, actually. We're actually around about the time we were expecting to kind of finish. So, but this is going to take nearly an hour. So, expect a nearly 3-hour podcast, everyone. So, I apologise.
It won't be an hour, this one, surely.
No, but it took nearly 30 minutes to talk about the last one. So, I try and be a bit more quick.
All right. I think there wasn't too much to talk about. I think in the first 20 minutes. I think it was only really until it started kicking off when the WarGames officially began. But
that's normally what it is with these matches, anyway. But it's great to go. Obviously, we talk about the Undisputed Era going against Pat McAfee's. They're just calling it. It's either the Kings of NXT they're calling themselves, or just Pat McAfee's team.
Pat McAfee's.
Yeah, so we had Undisputed Era, we had Adam Cole, Baby, gotta be said. I mean, obviously, if no one can see, but I've got a Adam Cole top on, so I'm obviously Undisputed Mark here, so I'm biased. So obviously, Kylie Riley, it's been great. Bobby Fish, Roderick Strong, all came back. Pat McAfee's group, obviously, we had Pat McAfee, had Pete Dunne as a heel, perfect idea. He's better as a heel. Oh, as you said before, OG Lorcan and Danny Burch. To put this quartet of basically money, basically Pat McAfee's basically paid them to join.
Yeah.
Obviously, he wasn't the original choice because it was supposed to be that I can't remember his name, like the guy that broke both his legs.
Yes, I was going to go into that because there was in that ladder match, the qualifying ladder match, to see who would gain the advantage between Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne. It's a good ladder match as well. There was a masked goon that came into the ring. Was it Austin Theory? I don't know. It could have been Austin Theory.
Oh, no, it's obvious who it was, mate. Come on. It's Pat. Come on.
I'm saying it was Pat, but it would have been much more interesting, I think, if they say a little bit consistent with it. I thought it was going to be Ridge Holland. Did you say he's broken both his legs?
Well, he's fractured both. He's literally he's not coming back for a while.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant storyline wise, someone had broken their legs. It was like, they'll be back next week then.
No, he's literally ironically, I think it was, I can't remember if it's Danny Burch or maybe Lorcan. It was a match between them two. And I think he chucked him over the ropes and I think he landed on his legs and it's not pretty. So I think wouldn't surprise me if he was supposed to be Pete Dunne's position.
Yeah, but to be fair, I'd rather have Pete Dunne on my team than Ridge Holland. No disrespect.
No, it's Pete Dunne, mate. Come on. But I mean, what I'm laughing again is, but yeah, obviously, was it Pat McAfee? Interesting, I find of him as a lot of people like what he does in the ring, and I'm not a big fan of what he could do in the ring, but that's fine because the guy can back it up with his promos. The guy's been on fire. I've got to be honest, I've enjoyed a lot of his promos. Build up to this match. I've got to be honest, he's been on fire. It's really good. Yeah.
I've been surprised by him in that match against Adam Cole. I thought Adam Cole was going to have to carry him through, but he carried himself well. I think just by himself. His moonsaults are lovely. he gets a lot of distance on him and he proper throws himself back, which is lovely to see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it must be just that athlete he is. Obviously, he can do them kind of spots. So, but yeah, I mean, when it comes to build up though, it's like I think he's really coming. He's got that ability. Very quickly, they got to be impressed by him. Is his unlikability?
Yeah,
you really want to punch him in the face, or just basically he's got. I know it's hard to say in hit wrestling, but heels it's like he's got that promo where it's like it's great to be great, but it sucks. It sucks to be suck or something.
It sucks to suck, which is an awful catchphrase, but then it's a heel.
But I think it's because apparently it's on the fly, because apparently they don't give him scripts to let him do his thing. And I think that did kind of feel like a on the nose kind of out of nowhere kind of thing. So that sounds catchy. It's like is it?
Sucks to suck was bung it on the t-shirt. But what also sucks is it sucks for Rich Holland. I just watched the video back. It's a match of actually only Lorcan. Catches lands and it doesn't look pretty. His leg's not meant to point that way.
Yeah, I've got a feeling he's going to be out for a while. So I wouldn't surprise me if Pete Dunne was supposed to be he'll come back in turn, but I think it was like I don't think he was supposed to be a part of this group. But
no, because he was the kind of was he like an enforcer or like a representative for the Heritage Cup, NXT UK?
Oh, okay, well, I didn't know about that. Sadly, I don't watch NXT UK. Shameful. Oh. That's shameful on us. We live in the actual country, and we don't watch NXT UK. We should be ashamed of ourselves. But again, what I like about this is just like again, Pete Dunne's just basically gone back to his kind of he doesn't speak at all. He's just basically like a no nonsense, don't talk badass like he was before.
Yeah, and he doesn't react to what Pat McAfee's kind of saying like either, or reacts to kind of what he's doing. He's just like deadpan and focused on himself.
He feels like he doesn't want to be there, and that's what I like.
Yeah, exactly. So I was expecting kind of a Pete Dunne kind of maybe like a turn as well. I was just like, actually, sod you, Pat. I'm not going to do this. Yeah, you're pissing me off now.
Well, it could happen, mate. Could happen. Obviously, in the NXT, because it's like this group is not by respect or by association. Nope. It's money.
They're basically mercenaries. Yeah, the McAfee That's your team name, the McAfee Mercenaries. There we are.
That does sound a bit. I don't know, mate. I got to the Kings of NXT. I like because how arrogant can that sound?
Mercenary Kings. We'll meet in the middle. Mercenary Kings.
Why not? I've heard worse names, mate. Why
the
not?
King and his mercenaries. I don't know, but
it doesn't need a name. But I don't know. It feels like it needs a name for the brand, like maybe for the brand. That's his kind of thing.
For the brand, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, we'll kind of talk about that. But yeah, so kind of the build-up's basically been as you expect from he lost to Adam Cole. So to try and even the odds, he hired himself some protection backup, and what backup he chose. I mean, Ollie Rock and Danny Burch have been great. It's great to see them get the spotlight for a change after they've been kind of I don't say forgotten, but kind of always on the back burner, like they're not known. So it's good to see them add the tag title, as he said. Pete Dunne back as a heel. It's been long overdue ever since he lost the UK Championship. It's kind of been all over the place, kind of. I feel he's been good, but they could do so much more of him. So I like this position he's in. Yeah. But yeah, obviously, and then as you said, the mysterious attacker. So Pat McAfee's team has the advantage going in. So it's one of those things where obviously we start off with the two that started off. That had the ladder match between Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne started off the match. Again, please let this turn into a thing. I would love a match between Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly. Like 20, give them 25 minutes to just do what they're going to do.
Was a ladder match not enough for you, Chris?
No, mate. I want technical masterclass, mate. I mean, ladder match is ladder match, but I love matches sometimes when you've got two technically gifted wrestlers that can it'll just be like a hold, like, submission work, that kind of esque type style. And it's just them two for 25 minutes. I could watch that all day long. Sorry.
Yeah.
Again, I've always liked Kyle O'Reilly, but the way they've been booking him for the last month, loving it. So, book it. Let that be the next feud. Do it. I'm just saying. Maybe it's just me. I like that kind of stuff. But
yeah. So we had Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne to begin with. Very, very grounded MMA style of trying to figure each other out, trying to outdo each other, but also try to gas in the tank. They don't want to go all out in the beginning of the match because they're in the match for 45 minutes. You know, so you got to conserve your energy a bit. We had Lorcan come in. We had Lorcan come in next, followed by Bobby Fish. And just going off my notes, Bobby Fish, then Lorcan's teammate Danny Burch came in, which what I thought was when he carried it to the ring. It's like, has he brought a tent with him? Is it going to be that long of a match that he's going to set up camp?
I was wondering because it's like, what is in this bag? And then you're like, cricket bag. Like, right. And what I made it funny is, for me, it felt funny because they're trying to fight cricket. They're trying to find cricket references.
Oh, you're hitting for 6. Yeah.
And I think there was an awkward moment when everyone's trying to, the commentators like, okay, was it that guy? Oh, could it be that guy? And then just was it Wade Barrett going, oh, I think it's Freddie Flintoff. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm just like, they were desperate to find. Normally when it's like some kind of reference, it's like, yeah, the cricket bats. It's not that confusing, people. It's not that weird of a sport. No. But to be fair, ouch, getting hit by a cricket bat hurts.
Yeah,
big time.
To quote Eddie Hitler from Bottom Live's Weapon Grade Y-Fronts tour. Joyous sound of nasal cartilage on Willow.
Oh my god! But I just go back. As much as people sit there and say, "Oh, that doesn't hurt, mate," a cricket bat to the back hurts.
Any part of the body hurts.
Yeah, but especially the back. I mean, we're not obviously. I don't think they're going full force, but they're still hitting it in some velocity where it's like that would hurt. I
mean, it could be worse. They could have been flinging like cricket balls at each other. Like now, that.
Don't give them ideas. You don't want to go too.
You should have put that in Shotzi's tank. Fire a cricket ball at velocity.
Yeah, that was. Well, maybe that's next time. But yeah, I think it's like I think for me as Brits here, it's like I just find it funny how they come from Britain. Well, one of them comes from Britain. Yeah. Obviously, he must like cricket. It's like no, but okay, it was a fun spot. I will let you off, but it's like the cliche, you know. You know, when it comes to Brits with the cliche, right?
Is that what are you going to use as a weapon? You can't exactly use a football like as a weapon. What are you going to just pick up a goalpost? You know that's not going to work. So you got to use things like, I mean, it could have been worse. They could have used Wimbledon. It could have been a tennis racket. You know,
it's not a big deal, but I know wrestling is basically built on, some characters are built on stereotypes, but it's just like, of course they went for the cricket bat, but. To be fair, it's still cool. The way they used it to try and... I think there was a bit where I think Dunn went on Kyle O'Reilly, and I think it was like some submission they were trying to both on him, and it was like using the cricket bat as like leverage. It looked... I think they weren't using it... They were using like the side of it and like digging into him. It was quite horrible. But again, it kind of worked. But again, obviously, after that, and then Bobby Fish came in, and it was just basically Bobby Fish helping out Kyle O'Reilly, doing all the awesome kind of... double team moves they do because they're just one of the greatest tag teams out there that we all forget sometimes. They're still one of the greats.
Strong came into the match. We had Birch and Lorcan waiting for him by the door. This is great tactics as well. You think Undisputed are going to get some kind of advantage or even the odds rather, but they're there waiting, just beating them down. That's a fantastic backbreaker. On Dunn. The height of it was really good.
I keep forgetting how good Roderick Strong is. I don't know how I can't. It's just you forget
how good Roderick Strong is, but also Pete Dunne, like his selling, it's brilliant. Like he really throws himself around, which is excellent.
I think watching these last couple of weeks makes you realise that I've missed Pete Dunne a lot, and I'm so glad he's back and in a provident position. So, but yeah, and obviously, a situation is like as you expect from Pat McAfee. He's not going to get involved. He doesn't have to rush. There, he's goons. He does they do all the work, and he just walks in. But again, I like the bit with the kind of like obviously they've been planning this with the nice tables with all the names of the Undisputed Era on them. That was a nice little touch there. As you said before, obviously done the awesome kind of moonsault he did on the table. I give him credit. I'm not saying he's a bit rusty at times, but I give him credit. He does. He's kind of a shame at man in some ways. He goes to the big spots and he goes for it.
Yes.
And I give him credit for that.
And he doesn't knock himself out in the process.
But but I don't know. It's just I kind of I don't know. It's just I got to give him props for that. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't do that, you know. But and after that, it's just I mean, it's again, it was spot fest after spot fest really of this, wasn't it? And that's not a bad thing. A lot of people criticised the match for being like too much of that. But we are talking about WarGames here.
This is WarGames. It's always about spots. WarGames is just fun.
Yeah, it's just basically it's just great moves, great counters, great spots. You know, obviously you can get tables, ladders, kendo. There's always a spot with a kendo stick. Always is, because kendo sticks are really awesome weapons to use.
Cole came into the match. Everyone's waiting for him to come in, so they all wait by the door, even though they can see Adam Cole pick up a fire extinguisher. But yet they still lean towards the door. And what that happens, they get sprayed in the face with a fire extinguisher. They can't see. That gives Adam Cole the opportunity to climb into the ring, and WarGames officially begins.
Yes, now this kind of similar tactics that the women are trying to do, but instead it didn't work this time for obviously Adam Cole. It's Adam Cole, come on. He'll find the way into that cage. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the expert of WarGames. But it's just after that, it was just kind of a lot of... Again, it's like these matches, just a lot of spots to get through. I can't remember all of them. Obviously, I think there was we had a cool bit at some point where we had, I think it was like, because obviously Pat McAfee's like a big fan of Ric Flair, and obviously it's WarGames. Mm-hmm. I think he was involved in it at some point. It's like a situation he's very Flairish. You know, he hit a figure four leg lock on Adam Cole. I liked that his team was kind of battling the rest of the Undisputed Era to keep them away. So he's in the middle of the second wing. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. And then the tables turned as well. The Undisputed Era managed to counter into submission holds themselves, and Cole reverses the figure four to, as you know, if you turn over on the figure four leg lock, the pressure is reversed, which we know is not true, but that's the rule of wrestling. That's another rule.
Yes, the golden rule.
If a table is set up, you're going for it. If you turn over or a figure four, you reverse the pressure. Of course you do.
Of course, it's the way it is. Just the way it is. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, I don't know if I'm skipping ahead here, but we obviously had that really cool bit where they obviously had Cole set up another table, and obviously another big bump by Pat McAfee here. Where so I think Adam Cole and Pat McAfee at top, and he pushed him off, and I've never seen a guy jump so far off. I love the way he jumped off, and he still kind of almost missed it. They maybe should have put the table a bit closer, but again he banged his head, so it's bad. But
he threw himself out. He committed. You got to give him that.
Yeah, you give him that. He went for the table nicely. I mean, that table broke. I mean, he had that spot where I think they're trying to do, I think Lorcan on one table, and they were going to like slam Dunn through the other one, but the table didn't break.
Yeah, that was a shame. And then they set up again. I can't remember. I think it was Roderick Strong went for the splash, and then Pete Dunne just had to wait there awkwardly. It's like, oh, okay, you're going to splash me now, and just lean back. That was a shame. Yeah,
I mean, but it's just like, but even when he broke it felt like it just broke. So I don't know if that's just
broke.
Reinforced table, where it's just that you got that one table that just didn't want to break. But obviously after that, just got constant, fight down. And at some point there was a cool moment in it. Well, I say near the end, but it probably should have been near the end. It's a bit when he had all the members of Pat McAfee's team in the kind of like on the outside near the cage, on the outside and the cage like outside, and basically the Undisputed Era said we've got to finish this, and it was just a constant knee punch, super kick to each of them, and it was just a really awesome spot. Especially when he, as always we say, Adam Cole's kind of like when Adam Cole kind of does a super kick, it always sounds great. So
there's some great teamwork there. Yeah, Pete Dunne and O'Reilly were still going at it, throwing each other forms at each other, and they've been going 45 minutes at this point.
Give him credit, man. Iron Man to the match.
Pete Dunne breaks Kyle O'Reilly's fingers, hits the bitter end. Could that be it? Nope. Kyle O'Reilly kicks out on the bitter end, which is a very rare move to kick out of. That's a very protective finisher as well. I'd like to have seen Pat McAfee like being such a slippery kind of heel. He could have like climbed to the top of the cage, realize he's safe, like he still wants to win. He doesn't want to forfeit the match. He could like be at the top there, like only Lorcan and Pete Dunne, Danny Burch taking all the damage to eventually it gets to a point where Pat McAfee's still trying to lead and try to will his team on. And eventually they have enough and say, you know what, screw you, Pat. And they just leave. It's like, no, or they just stand aside and there's another ring, and he surrounds and they just watch. It's like, we're not going to take this anymore. You take some of the bumps.
So basically, the bit I think near the end is basically like they've taken out all of Pat McAfee's goons. He's on the other side of the ring, completely alone. Mm-hmm. And they just got Undisputed Era surrounding him. The bit where he's trying to climb off the cage, he doesn't care anymore. He just wants to escape. And then just a bit where he just beat the living crap out of him. I think that should have been the ending, personally. I think that's the perfect way. If they knew Undisputed were going to win, that should have been the ending for me personally. But but it wasn't, and it kept going.
It looked like what could have been like a finish, and then they followed by more like false finishes. They're going to kick out of it. So there's a Panama Sunrise, and the Panama Sunrise is one of those things where everyone kicks out of. Unless you hit a last shot straight away afterwards, everyone kicks out of Panama Sunrise. It's like the Blue Thunder Bomb. It's an awesome move, but everyone kicks out of it. Yeah. Yeah,
it should be a finisher, but that's just. To be fair, we did get that cool moment with. We talked about one awkward chair spot, in the other WarGames match but there was a bit. Again, I think it's not the first time he's done it. Adam Cole kind of. I can't remember what it was. I don't know if it was like a bitter ending by Pete Dunne or something, where it was just like he had the chair set up, and it kind of landed on like was it Adam Cole's ribs. That's obviously a nice callback to his injury, but it's just like again, it looked awkward. Like that's gotta. Just to point out, if it sounds like we're kind of all place, one, the connection's quite bad, and two, it's quite late, so we're probably we're all pretty knackered. So I apologise if passion is not fever pitched.
Apologies.
It's been.
Let's end on a high. Let's get to the finish.
Owen Lorcan hit a high and low by the Undisputed Era. And then obviously Kyle O'Reilly hit that knee. I think he had a chair. Oh yeah, it was like he'd done the one knee from the top, and I think he had a chair on his arm. Done that knee from the top. That's really cool. And got the pin, got the win. And again, one. I like it's Kyle O'Reilly gets the pin, so it keeps his momentum going. Because he's on a good momentum lately. And again, I thought Pat McAfee would win. Apparently, my predictions were terrible in this show. But except for that, it's like, but I thought there was legs to kind of this kind of Pat McAfee kind of group. But now when I think about it, Pat McAfee's very good at talking his way out of a problem. He's that heel that he's so good at promo, he can justify it somehow. And I think Undisputed kind of needed it because obviously I think as you pointed out at the start of the podcast, like they've won one. It's like only their second win of WarGames, maybe, I think it is.
Yeah, so they've won 50% of their WarGames matches now. So
it's kind of a nice win. Also, it kind of works. I think, Pat McAfee will get his win eventually, but no deny it's exactly what you expect from a match like this. It had everything. It had great wrestling, great spots, awesome, moments.
Just not the NXT Takeover crowd that we usually have.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be honest. I know they do it a lot, but I kind of hate it when they obviously is artificial people going NXT.
Oh yeah, that artificial noise is so annoying. You got NXT, you got This Is Awesome, but This Is Awesome would play like straight after like a table spot moment or someone diving from the top. It would like land, boom, then press the button. This Is Awesome. It usually lingers for a bit. Everyone kind of gathers like, everyone's thinking. That was awesome. Yeah, that was awesome. I just
realised I can't believe we just forgot about it. That I don't know if you brought it up, like the Swanton Bomb from the top by Pat McAfee. Did we bring that up?
The Swanton Bomb.
Did we bring?
Yeah.
Did we bring that up?
I thought you brought it up.
No, I don't think I did.
Yeah. You forgot about the biggest spot in the match, the Swanton Bomb.
But we got there. It was fine. It's fine. We didn't. Yeah. We almost did, but we didn't. So it would.
He landed quite hard as well, I think, Pat.
Well, he landed weird as well. I don't know if it's like maybe it's just where he again. I don't know. He's probably got how many concussions, that poor guy. So.
Well, bear in mind he's probably had the least amount of injuries from the NFL because he was a punter, wasn't he? He wasn't like a line break or running back or quarterback. He was just a kicker. He'd come on to do the kicks. Hence why his finishing move was the punt.
Yes, but only one person does the punt. So sorry, Pat, but only one person. So
you're gonna get an RKO from out of nowhere if you keep on.
Yeah, that'll come out eventually. That'd be nice. Gotta be honest. But yeah, no, I can't believe it. I just like he went up again and he done a swanton, and it's just like again, it's like you have all these people landing, but it felt weird. It's just like I don't know if you like, it felt like they didn't get all of him, or like I didn't catch him right or something. I don't know. But it was still a cool move. I just can't believe we almost forgot about it. What kind of reviewers are we?
Well, not very good ones from the standard of this one. Ones with a lot of technical, logical issues.
It's fine. But yeah. So obviously got to wait till obviously Undisputed. This feud will probably continue in probably mini matches, like between like maybe I don't know, like Adam Cole will probably still go against Pat McAfee, or like the Undisputed Era will probably go against go for the tag titles. Again. But I like the idea of like Pete again. I think they go Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne. I think there's a feud there. I think they're going to continue that, and I would like that.
I hope so.
I mean, it's just me because again, Kyle O'Reilly's like they're building him up the way that I kind of thought the way they're building up around ROH. Like eventually he'll build up and he'll win that title, and it'll be this big thing. And I hope they build it up to a point where he wins it, and there's a crowd there, because it'll be one of those great moments in NXT. You know.
Oh, for sure. I'd love to see Kyle O'Reilly as NXT champion one day as well.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it totally works for me because obviously, again, it just feels like they're building him the same way down ROH. Like he always felt like the underdog, the kind of he's a workhorse. He worked his way up eventually, and he finally got the big one that won. It wouldn't surprise me if I would have liked it being perfect, like do an ROH where like Adam Cole wins the title and he beats Adam Cole to win it, but. I don't know if that'd just be like too much, but I do want unless Finn Balor keeps the title and he beats Finn Balor. But yeah, I think Kyle O'Reilly's going to be a breakout star 2021. Mark my words.
I hope so.
Well, I say breakout star. He's already been a star, but in NXT he'd be the top guy. Promise you, 100% believe it. So, but yeah, kind of again ends on a very good show, I would say.
Yeah.
I put a poll out on it. For a change, actually got some ping. Or was it most people? I think I put a great, good, meh, or bad. Luckily, no one ticked on the bad because it wasn't a bad show. But a lot of the percent, only 11 people voted, but like 70% or 60 odd percent said it was a good show. And I got to be honest, 100% agree.
Yep, I agree. Only thing, as I said before, is missing is the crowd. That's what makes NXT Takeover so special. The match with again, I've not watched too much like kind of NXT, but the team of Pat McAfee's team of his Kings of NXT felt, I don't know, it felt kind of a bit slapdash. Did you get that kind of vibe? It was always just kind of put together a bit too quickly. I know the feud with Adam Cole and Pat McAfee's been happening for a while, but assembling that team for Pat, do you think that kind of happened out of nowhere?
Kind of did, but you could. It had that feeling that I think like In Your House felt, in the sense that it felt like they've just gone, like they've slapped it together quite quickly. It wouldn't surprise me if they built. I didn't think it would be a situation where they put this team together and they run rough shot over the show. They only done it for 2 weeks. I would have liked it for like maybe at least 4 or 5, like longer. But I guess we don't live in a perfect world. But I think it's one of those things. I've got a feeling if we weren't in this kind of lockdown situation and the situation we're in at the moment, I think they would have put this team together earlier and would have built up for months, and then like perfect world, and then we would have had up to WarGames. It would have felt like it would, instead of like the Undisputed Era being out for weeks, it would have been out for like 2 months or something. Like really tease it out. But I feel like again, I feel that for me they've kind of they kind of thought they were hit and miss when they were going to do this pay-per-view. So that's what it felt like. So like it felt like the situation. Oh, we've got to do one. Oh, we can kind of still do WarGames. But yeah, it did feel. I agree. It feels a bit rushed in the sense that put together, but doesn't deny how it kind of works. It doesn't. It feels put together, but it's supposed to be. When you think about it, it's kind of supposed to be this collection of people that just because Pat's got a lot of money. But man, it didn't take away from the match. I mean, again. But I mean, it's like, do you think all the matches kind of delivered to a point?
Yeah, I think, again, it's the same as the last takeover. I think the takeover before, there wasn't a bad match on the card. Even the strap match, I enjoyed kind of somewhat. I didn't think I'd be into it as much, but the promo package looked kind of like fun. And the stipulation worked for what it was. It suited the characters. I still don't know what Dexter, Lumis is. We'll find out eventually. yeah, not a bad match. I enjoyed Tommaso Ciampa and Timmy Thatcher. I wanted to see Kushida on the show. I wanted to see Finn Balor. That'd be a good title match.
I can't wait for that on next week. Opposite.
What's next week?
Because Finn Balor's back. I think it's the first time he's going to be finally back. So it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see who his challenge is going to be, because he's been out for a while, of course. But any Finn Balor promo has been great. So I'm kind of excited to see who he faces next. Who they're going to choose.
Kushida would be a good one.
I would like that, because it means it kind of justifies kind of like the big kind of change of attitude and push they're going to go for. Because I feel like he's took a back seat the last couple of weeks. That's fine, but I just think I don't want him to be another one of those. That's what I'm thinking of, Kenta. Yeah, so another one, but I'm not going to say the actual name because I can't pronounce it, because I don't want to sound like an idiot. So Kenta, that's what his real name is.
Hideo Itami.
Yeah, Kenta.
Now known as Kenta.
Kenta.
Yeah. But that kind of name, Hideo Itami, is kind of cursed. So.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, would you say that's just kind of ended with like last thought? I guess like what out of all the WarGame matches, what one did you enjoy more, the women's or the men's?
I think I enjoy it in terms of like the psychology. I think I prefer the women's match.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that, to be fair, because one, it didn't feel as long, but it just felt. I think the booking of that, putting that team together, made more sense than was just. I think it was just a little bit booked, just a little bit better than the men's one, just a little bit.
Yeah.
And I like everyone in that match. Well, I mean, I like everyone in the other match, but I just think there's more potential, and I think Candice Winning's team winning makes a bit more sense than maybe Undisputed team winning their match a little bit more. Yeah,
there's more scope for different feuds. Dakota Kai's looking good just kind of on her own, so that kind of dynamic change with her and Raquel Gonzalez potentially challenging Io Shirai because she got the pin. You've got Toni Storm is the new heel, like potentially feuding with Rhea, or continuing her feud with Ember Moon. Candice LeRae can still go with Shotzi. They've still got some unfinished business here, whereas the match at the men's one, that felt more like a conclusion. I mean, you can still do more with like Undisputed Era against Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan for the tag team titles, and Kyle O'Reilly against Pete Dunne one more time. Wouldn't be surprised that happening, but I don't see that going anywhere else. That's very much a feud ender.
Yeah, that's kind of sad, because I think there's would have liked it to last more of like a 2 or 3 matches kind of feud between them. I think there's one more match out of it, but I just don't think it would have liked it to be longer. I agree, but I think I just think they've booked the women's quite good. This last couple of months, or since I've been watching it anyway, like at a regular basis. I know it's just like the characters are booked well, the motivations are great. The match I don't think I've seen a really bad match of any women's match on between those like 5 or 6, 8 women. So I think it's just it's great. So I think I totally agree. The women's match, I think, it was just a bit better, and I think it was smoother. I think it had a bit more of a defining finish, I would say. With the men's match kind of ended with kind of a Kyle O'Reilly doing like a knee from the top, where I would have liked it a bit more like like something through a table, or
There's more psychology like in the beginning stages of the match, so before WarGames officially begins, before everyone's in, there was more going on storytelling wise and in terms of tactics as well in the women's match. I thought the men's was okay, let's get everyone in. Once everyone's in, then we'll start doing spot. There's more storytelling in the women's.
They're both still enjoyable. I think I've said when a comment on one of the guys on Twitter said, I think I've said out of all, take away the 2 WarGames matches, out of the 3 matches that they put in between, I think my favourite was the triple threat, minus the obviously ending, but I think that was a fun match to watch, so I enjoyed that. But yeah, I mean, I think some of them are stories are both underdeveloped, but again, the match, they always deliver when it comes to enjoyable matchups. So just to kind of end it with, what would you, score-wise, would you say a 7, maybe 8, if you kind of, maybe 8 would be a fair reflection?
7.5, 8, I'd say so. I enjoyed the show.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like Takeover. It's like, and now it's like, even when you have a bad show, or considered a bad show, it's still good, because it's just, they have a different level of quality now. Takeover and NXT Takeover is like, I've never worried that I'm going to hate any of the matches. I'm never going to worry that I'm going to, bit bored.
You're not going to be worried about the booking as well. I don't think you can always see like where they. You're not quite sure where they're going with it, but you kind of trust the process.
Yeah, it's probably what I said many times about why watch WWE is kind of harder to take the benefit of the doubt because we don't trust them anymore. Let's be honest. To do it right, where people in NXT, AEW, other wrestling companies, we kind of trust them, so we give them more benefit of the doubt when it comes to kind of booker decisions. So if someone loses, if it was WWE, you would worry that they're screwed. But I mean, with NXT, AEW, all the stuff, like you're confident they know what they're doing because they've built that trust over years, or in AEW's case, a year, but they've built that trust. So yeah, but I think that's why I never worry about NXT. They'll be fine. They'll be alright. I still think they should be put on a Tuesday night instead of a Wednesday, but that's just me. But
yeah, Tuesday or Thursday. Yeah. Although Tuesday you got TNA now. We've got to watch that because Kenny Omega is going to make some kind of announcement. Yeah,
that's tonight, isn't it? Oh, obviously prior to the recording, we know what happens. We know everything. So, but let's be honest, I might actually watch that tonight. Actually, I might go back and watch that show. But yeah. So yeah, I agree. 8 out of 10, perfect. But yeah, that's our thoughts on NXT WarGames. Or should I leave it to you to end with the final WarGames?
No, we've indulged quite enough with the WarGame stuff. I think.
You used it a lot through this podcast, gotta be honest, but it's
I have done, but we're over 2 hours into this podcast. I think everyone wants us to wrap up.
Yeah, I need to chill out and because you probably need, because you've actually done something today. I haven't, so.
Well, I went to the cinema.
Yeah, but you left the house and went somewhere, so.
I left the house.
I haven't, because but anyway, but yeah, so. So yep, so we've done that. So I think that's our last NXT of the year. I've got a plan for maybe do separate. I don't know if we can do it. We'll try, but trying to do a podcast for each NXT, WWE, and AEW, so we could just talk about them all separately. Would be nice because it'd just be instead of put it all, slamming them all into one podcast. That it means we could be a bit more detailed of the year ahead, how the year's gone, maybe. So I might do let's talk AEW 2020 or something, or let's talk NXT. Again, these are just ideas, and if anyone knows me, they might not happen, but we're going to have some sort of end of the year type thing. I'm sure we can find a way to make that happen, surely. Yeah,
we'll think of something, maybe like an award show, our best of matches. It's quite a difficult one for best of, isn't it? And not a lot of them spring to mind. I need to do some digging again. I need to rewatch some contenders.
Yeah, I've got a feeling I know one match is going to be in it, and it's going to be the NXT UK match, definitely.
Yes.
So, but anyway, yeah, we'll think of something. We always do. We'll think of maybe a award show, as you said, maybe separate, for each show we've watched this year, or we might say let's just talk about wrestling 2020. Just go all in, balls to the wall, talk about everything. That's probably sounds dangerous, but we'll think of something. But obviously that's later on. Obviously, the last pay-per-view we're going to do the year is looks like it's going to be TLC.
Yep, taking place on the 20th of December. Streaming live on the WWE Network. A little bit of plugging for WWE there. If you want us to discuss anything in particular, give us potentially some ideas. What do you want us to rant and rave about? You can hit us up on Twitter at Josh and Stu Pod, or if you've got any, business inquiries, professional inquiries, you can drop us an email at joshandstewpodcast@gmail.com. We're also on Instagram as Josh and Stew Wrestling Podcast, I believe.
Yes, I'm actually starting to be a bit more active on there again, so definitely check out that as well. Honestly, the website's just type in JNS Wrestling Pod. The website, obviously minus the scores for the NXT Takeover stuff. I think it should. I think it's all up to date. So all the new episodes are on there. All the new who's champions of the Prediction League, all that kind of stuff's all up there. So obviously when it comes to me and Josh, we're back in a couple of weeks. But when it comes to me, I'll be back next week with kind of our new little weekly pod. It's kind of my 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 kind of lockdown project, with talking about all things pro wrestling. We've got was it up on 5 episodes now? So that was look out for that. Obviously, that's usually out on Sunday. So definitely look out. I hope you've been listening. If you haven't, that's cool. But yeah, just go on. It's on. Just go on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you get your podcasts. Where you're listening to this, basically you'll find that. So do check it out. But yeah, so it's quite late. I think we both need sleep or some sort of relax, chill out. So we've been talking for a while now. So I think we need to relax.
I think so.
So yeah, I think we talked long enough. So I've been Stuart One.
I've been Joshua Plummer.
Yep, and hopefully we'll see you back for TLC. Have an awesome week, everyone. Bye, everyone. Bye.
See you then, and Merry Christmas.